EliteAri, did you know there was a Watchmen TV series?
I did, and I watched it back in 2019 for the first time.
Oh my goodness, I was going to ask you about that. It was really right at the time, EliteAri. You were in the thick of it.
Actually, it might have been like a few months after. So, it was 2019, 2020, something around that time.
2020, that's the year when it all happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, EliteAri. First off, I read a comic book. I reviewed a comic book. Then we together watched a movie. We talked about a very, very, very bad movie, EliteAri. And now you hear some mixed things about this 2019 TV series titled Watchmen. You hear it's the worst story of all time from a few videos. You hear it's the best story of all time from EliteAri. Now, what's the answer, EliteAri? Well, we're not quite up to that yet. I'll tell everybody the answer when it's my turn, EliteAri. But you watched it back in the day. You said it was a 5 out of 5.
I did, yeah.
But now you've rewatched it. We'll see if your opinions have changed at all. I honestly didn't know much about the series. When I looked into it briefly after I finished the comic book, I watched the trailer and stuff like that, and I found out it was a sequel. No help to you, EliteAri. When I asked you about it, you said you didn't know if it was a sequel or what was going on. So that was a little confusing. And recently, when I've asked you some questions, you say you don't remember anything about this show.
True.
So we'll see how that factors into things. But EliteAri, I think this is all the preamble we need. What else do we have to go over?
Well, I have some questions. Wait, firstly, did you know that Dr. Manhattan was in this?
Kind of, by a thumbnail that I wasn't sure was real. But
Okay.
Well, I guess this is a bit of context. After I finished the movie, I looked up Watchmen thingy because I was mad, EliteAri, and I wanted everybody else to be mad. And so I watched Watchmen video essay, put it in. But most of them were about the TV show. So I'd seen various things from the TV show, I guess. And one thumbnail had what it looked like to be Dr. Manhattan, but I couldn't tell if it was racism. If they were just being they made him a black guy because they were making fun of the show and how, because I knew the show was about race a lot. So I couldn't tell if it was real or not, but this will go into me calling it later, EliteAri, so don't worry about it. We will cover that in a separate topic. But next question?
No, we'll leave it at that. I think that's the main thing. But yeah.
No. Who cares about Dr. Manhattan?
True.
No, it's like the big twist, EliteAri. I understand why you brought it up. Now, true and true. EliteAri, why don't you go first? Why don't you refresh us with don't refresh us. Tell us your new opinions. Did the show suck now?
Well, I will say it is amazing that I watched this without watching the knowing anything about this. Before the movie, before you telling me anything about the comic book, it is an impressive thing that I managed to watch this.
Because you didn't watch this first, EliteAri. The people know this from our last video, but that's true.
It is true. And I remember watching it and being like, who is this old man? And what's going on here? And there's a blue guy and he's really powerful. And it was crazy. It was a crazy first experience, okay? This time around, I think it's really good. I think I like it pretty much as it's a different type of where now it's I understand these characters pretty much. Last time I watched it, I don't think I really understood them at all. At least their backstories, I had no idea that Agent Blake, or whatever they call her in this, was anything of a superhero. I barely remembered her whatsoever. Obviously, I didn't know anything about Dr. Manhattan and his life, and obviously Adrian I knew nothing about. So this time around, it's I feel like I know a bit more. So it just feels their kind of life a bit more, and I enjoyed it. And I think more so, something that I liked a lot more this time was Will Reeves, Hooded Justice. I really enjoyed that stuff a lot more this time around. Where last time I remember thinking, it's probably the weaker stuff in the story. I didn't like it that much, but this time I liked it quite a lot. But yeah, I enjoyed. That would have been
very interesting going back to watch the movie afterwards and seeing Hooded Justice and that.
Yeah, it was there for 2 seconds, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But yeah.
Wait, so you just kind of talked about your re-upped experience, just generally last time. What did you like so much about the show? What do you like so much about the show right now?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's it's a mix of things. Firstly, it's immediately from the first scene, it's they're doing interesting things. Immediately they open with a black and white, I would assume that's just made for the show, right? It's not some old historical.
Wait, what was the first scene?
With Bass Reeves or whatever, the Black Marshal of Oklahoma.
Yes.
Whatever that is. They're opening with something interesting. There's a bunch of just, I don't know, it's interestingly directed. It is an engaging.
That's a real thing.
Even if it is a real thing, the inclusion of that is the first moment that you see is it hooks me right from the beginning. And the show is the show has a bunch of stuff like that. Just interesting directing, artsy kind of choices that I think are really cool. That's the main, well, that's not the main thing. It's just one of the main things. It is also inherently a mystery or a few different mysteries, what's happening with the Dr. Manhattan they keep referring to, he's on Mars or whatever, what's actually happening there.
Because it's made by the Lost guy, EliteAri. I didn't know that.
That is true. One of the I actually don't know his role. I think he was a producer in the original Lost. Maybe he was a writer. I don't know, but true. So I like that. I like the mystery stuff. I like even just Adrian and trying to figure out what's going on with his storyline this entire time. And you really don't get a reveal until like right at the end. So it's like keeping you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like all that element to it. And then there's like the I guess just like the interesting, crazy kind of world, especially the first time through when I'm going through it. I'm like, this feels like a really thought out world, or like a very like, I don't know, it's pretty wacky and sci-fi, but like in very grounded ways. And it's interesting is what I would say the show is. That's probably my first takeaway. And it was the one memory I had of it when I was thinking about it, was like, it's a weird, interesting show. Yeah. So that's probably why I liked it so much, and probably why I still like it so much, with the added like, oh, I really like the character stuff too now. But yeah.
Interesting, EliteAri. Interesting. Do you want a second to predict what I'm going to think? Last time you were spot on the money.
Yeah. I mean, that was very easy to predict. This one is like, I don't know. To me, there's only two. There's no way you'd dislike this show outright. I would be very surprised because it's such an interesting show. There's no way that you'd be like, oh, it's like as bad as that first movie. But the thing is, I don't think you'd love it. So I don't think you're going to be like, this is the perfect, like, best show ever. So my guess would be you probably think it's like, you're probably incredibly disappointed is probably the word you have, which is like, man, it had so much potential, but man, you know, I just didn't, it's not quite up there. That's my guess. That's exactly, you know what? That's exactly what you think. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, EliteAri, one of the words you used in about the last 2 minutes is in my first sentence, but it's not disappointing. It is, this show is very weird, EliteAri. True. It's good. I'm going to read out my little written out thing, EliteAri. I have, it's good, maybe even great, but I wouldn't call it spectacular, EliteAri. So we're settling in the 4 out of 5 category, EliteAri. That's where we're settling. Everything the Snyder adaptation had going against it, coming off super corny, terrible acting, bad stylization, making the characters boring, this show excels in. The show, especially towards the beginning, is very intriguing. The acting is very good. The characters are largely very good, but I don't know if any of them in the end up being super spectacular. It's fun to watch. There's also... what the fuck does that sentence mean, EliteAri? There's also a lot of differences, but the fact that I don't care that much about the changes, because... I think I'm saying that because the show is good, I don't care about changes, and that's why the last movie's bad and it has changes, so it's like doubling down. But I do. That was very praisatory, EliteAri. But I think I do have a section of like things that I think are silly, which is probably my main negatives with the thing. Maybe we'll go into that first. I'm not sure. But other than that, I think the highlight is it being weird, and it's like I almost don't know how to feel about it, because at the beginning. I think I'm coming down on like liking the beginning of the show more, which is kind of crazy. But at the beginning, when it's kind of like a cop procedural, I was like at my most interested. And then later, there were weird or perhaps silly things that I was like, I don't know about this. But there's also silly things that I really like and are probably the best things in the show. So I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted, EliteAri. Conflicted. You didn't say. No, I didn't say disappointed once.
Yeah, true. But I'm glad you think it's a weird thing, you know, a weird experience of mixed kind of, yeah, it is an interesting show, I think.
I guess maybe I could say I'm slightly disappointed because I was hopeful maybe. Now, I don't go in with too much hope sometimes, EliteAri, but I was maybe hopeful this would be like a 5 out of 5. But, you know, we're settling on a 4 out of 5. So in that aspect, maybe I'm a little disappointed, EliteAri. I'd still say I like the comic book the best, but it's definitely better than that shitty movie you like.
True. I would agree with that.
Even you would agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite shows. I love it. It's really good.
True. I was looking for another show to add to my top 10 list, but I don't know. You know, this is interesting because I do have a connection to this later. I do have the connections to Pluribus written down in my notes, but I would probably put it in the same category as that. Maybe a little. I enjoyed it a little more. Of like shows that are pretty good. I would be really interested if they continued. Well, not really with this show, but Pluribus. I'm still looking forward to season 2, EliteAri. But it's like, I would never put them on like that top 10 list. I feel like it would feel bad if I put them on the top 10 list because they're not as representative of the things I like as my other favorite shows. So that's weird Kyle Entertainment Pantheon stuff. But who cares about that, EliteAri? Is there any way you immediately want to go, EliteAri?
Well, I would say just firstly, you said that like you like the initial stuff better, and then as time went on, you were less sold on it maybe. For me, it's probably... I don't know if... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think, because I watched the last 3 episodes today, And I was like excited because every time I was doing one episode a day, and every time it ended, I was like, oh, I wish I was watching the next episode now, but like I got to do other things. But I feel like today it kind of was a drag a little bit, but that's not because the episodes were bad. I don't know. But I was like, oh, I would really like to take this slower than I am today. Well, that implies that like maybe I wanted to digest things, but it was just like I wasn't as excited. Whereas I think I would have been more excited, but maybe if I got 2 episodes in one of those days, I wouldn't have been excited to watch a third just because I can't sit still for more than an hour later. I'll go crazy.
Sure.
But I don't know. There's something weird about that where I was like, oh, I'm very interested and engaged when it was like simpler, I guess. But I don't even know. I'm conflicted in even that statement, Eliteari. But go ahead. You were going to say what you thought?
Yeah, I would say the first episode to me is the weakest. Where when I went back, I watched it and I was like, oh, maybe the show isn't as good as I remember. But then as time went on, I was like, oh yeah, now I remember, I like the show a lot, and it really like makes the first episode better, I think. I think it's a lot of like, I don't know, it's just like the first scene is really good. The world is very interesting in that first episode. But there's nothing it doesn't really hook me too much. There's not there's some Rorschach stuff, which is like pretty cool. And there's like the police like wearing masks and stuff. But I don't know, all the interesting stuff that happens to me is probably later or like a little bit after that, I think.
This was one of the more interesting things I thought initially, because the show definitely pivots to like, why is this a Watchmen thing at all? This is just kind of like a cop drama. And then it massively pivots into lots and lots of Watchmen stuff. Obviously, it's slowly introduced with the Adrian stuff, but then obviously Dr. Manhattan showing up and everything else. Getting a bit more fantastical as we progress with the Lady True or whatever her name is, Eliteari. So yeah, it was very interesting because that was initially why I thought it was so weird. It's like, what an interesting thing to like pitch in the room for like, oh, we can do a Watchmen show. Let's not just adapt the thing or whatever. Let's do like this weird 30-year later cop drama with light mentions of Rorschach, and Laurie is like a FBI girl. But then obviously it becomes more apparent later on that there was more planning going into this and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe that was the pivot, because that stuff kind of only started to come into the episode seriously in the stuff I watched today. So who knows? But true, EliteAri, we like cops and we don't like superheroes.
Yep.
No, you said the opposite, EliteAri. Now, actually, I think why don't we go into the plot related stuff first? So there is some twists in this one, EliteAri. It is a bit of a... Now, every negative... I watched a bunch of videos, EliteAri, so get ready for that.
And I watched the Blind Wave reaction series, so I have their opinions.
I didn't watch any reactions. I was thinking about that, but then I didn't have enough time. Every video was horribly negative about this show, except for like one of them I watched, which I thought was very
surprising. I've only ever heard 2 things about the show. Almost universal praise, but also a lot of people being like, it was a weird, like, I don't know what I think about it. I've never really seen outright, like, hate for it. But I don't watch any of the...
all I've ever seen is universal hate.
Well, the thing is, I've never consumed any sort of fan of, like, the original Watchmen, who is, like, caring about this as, like, a continuation.
It's not that. It's all political stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen any of that. Okay. I mean, I can imagine it, but... Yeah.
Like there's like a 12-minute critical drinker video titled "This Show Hates You" or something, and then that ER guy, that big racist YouTuber, has I think 2 of his most popular videos are his 2 Watchmen videos.
Interesting.
But yeah, and obviously there's a black protagonist, EliteAri, in Watchmen.
I haven't seen the original, so I don't know.
No, it's crazy. But yeah, well, I have a separate thing about politics. Why did I bring that up? Oh, a lot of the... Because, even besides those videos, which I did watch today, there was, like, a lot of story... Like, oh my god, this just doesn't make sense, and they betrayed the characters and all this stuff. So that's definitely part of it. Why was I bringing this up, EliteAri?
You were just going to say... I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
I'm sure there was a point. I would never do something without a point, EliteAri. I think this started with me trying to talk about the plot stuff.
Yes.
Well, the plot stuff, EliteAri, is me patting myself on the back for calling everything. Can you believe it?
What did you call? I don't know.
In episode 1, I knew this old man was Hooded Justice. Now, this goes back to something when I was... Well, this goes back... I think I must have known this because I thought this when I was reading the comic book. I'm like, Hooded Justice is like a black guy, right?
Oh my goodness.
And then the comic... the comic, like, is big on it being like... that Austrian wrestler dude or whatever, which is clearly the case, the interpretation the movie had, though it is ambiguous in the comic book too. But I can't tell if it's just because somehow I knew this plot point, or is it just because the getup makes him look like a KKK guy, but like it's black instead of white. So I thought, oh, maybe it's like a take on that, and that's why he's like got a lynching noose around his neck or whatever. So I don't know how much what do you call it, praise I get for this one, EliteAri. But as soon as they were doing like the Hooded Justice was like on a bunch of posters, and the TV thing was all in episode 1, and then there's like the mysterious old man, and obviously those superheroes are from like the 30s and 40s and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy, especially when we cold opened on him in the Tulsa riots or whatever, this guy's Hooded Justice, EliteAri. So I was correct on that one. I'm a genius, right?
Yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah, I never would have guessed it. But yeah,
it's not impressive, EliteAri. I just was cheating. The other one is for whatever reason in like episode 2, I was like, the husband is like Dr. Manhattan, I think, and I have no idea why I thought that. And then I came off that because I think because the note I had written down was the husband and the old man are both Dr. Manhattan ? Which was obviously not true, and I just praised myself for figuring out the who the old man was in the episode previous. But I think it was in the scene where she's first talking to him in her fake bakery, where I was like, And then I fell off it, because when it came back around, I figured it out before they actually revealed it, but it was only like 10 minutes beforehand. When I was like, because things started to click, I was like, oh, they did go out of their way to have Laurie say that her husband was sexy. It's like, oh, Dr. Manhattan, because she used to be his boyfriend, EliteAri. His girlfriend, EliteAri. So I was starting to put like a million little things together, and I was like, oh, so this is definitely the case. And then that becomes something else later. We could talk more about that later on, but true. And also, obviously, immediately I knew who Ozymandias was, EliteAri. Let's not be ridiculous.
Yeah, good job.
But that one was
did you know where he was?
Oh, no, EliteAri. Because I figured out, because at some point, like, I think in episode 2 when he's introduced, they're like in an area that kind of looks like that in Tulsa or something. So I'm like, is he like right around them, and that's going to be the reveal? And then I think I had a realization when I thought that was like, no, it's going to be like way far away, because they're trying to make you think that it might be close, and they might be crossing over. I didn't, however, think that he was on Europa, EliteAri.
Yep, crazy.
That was a great shot when he's shot out of the cannon, and then it just becomes space. Yep. And then you're like, oh, Dr. Manhattan put him here or something. This is crazy. Yep. And you get the interpretation. Because later, well, I think these are twists of the show, but I only have 2 written down. But like the realization, which was in the moment, so I didn't get this beforehand, but was like, oh my God, this is like the life Dr. Manhattan went off to create when you figure it, like when you figure out that's the planet. That was shocking, because that is like one of the coolest parts of the ending there, of the comic book at least, is that he says he wants to go off and create life, and that's like his kind of the final resolution of his character, is he's walking on the water in the pool, which is like imagery they use in the show a lot. It's like, oh, these are the lives he created. It was Crookshanks and Mr. Phillips, EliteAri. Could you believe it?
And you know what? It took him 90 seconds or something, right?
True. Exactly 90 seconds. Yep. And he got bored very quickly, EliteAri. He just moved on a little bit. Also very close to Earth. And they only ever talk about him being in the solar system, I think, in the show. So who knows? Also, Ozymandias being her father was a twist that I didn't see until like the reveal. So that was something. But those are the only 2 twists I've written down. I think when I initially made this subheading, I intended to write down more, EliteAri, but I did not. You remember any other twists?
Well, not really. I have a thing to say though, which is that it is interesting. I watched the whole Blind Wave reaction. I've seen some of the normies. There's not really any good like reaction channels that are reacted to the show, besides those 2, I think. But it is interesting in that when I'm watching for the second time, the Hooded Justice reveal is like, I would struggle to like think that's a thing that someone could theorize and come up with as like a thing, until like somewhat into the, like when you get closer and closer and figure out, like you can maybe figure it out. But the Dr. Manhattan thing, when you know it, like now that I knew who he was the whole time. That's something you can't forget, right? But when you know it, it's like, it is pretty obvious. Like there are like hints. Like for instance, I think the scene you might be talking about is when they're talking about like, oh, can Dr. Manhattan appear as a human or whatever? And they say that a bunch early on. And even the husband says it at one point. And it's like, oh, is he Dr. Manhattan? Is that why we're having this scene here? And it's like, oh, you can actually, I think you can figure out the Dr. Manhattan thing probably pretty early.
Well, he's also off-putting because he's like so perfect. And it's like, but then I think it's in the same episode they reveal it, but I think I like paused it to go do something else for a little while. So I might think it's in an earlier episode. But they mentioned the car crash thing, which is like their fake cover story. And so I was like, oh, so that explains why he's so perfect, because he had memory loss and there's probably something fucked up there or something. But then later they reveal it's the Dr. Manhattan stuff instead.
Yeah, and there's the scene where he's talking about how there's no, like, when you die you go nowhere or whatever. It's like, that's a very Dr. Manhattan thing.
No, true, I guess. Yeah.
But the reason I brought this up is that in all the reactions I've seen, no one has predicted it. They're all shocked when it happens, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, that, I guess if you're just a first time reactor here, you don't really piece it together. But yeah, but
it is a cool moment of, like, because I think when the lady true lady says, like, oh, you haven't even asked me who it is, obviously that's the moment where everybody would realize. But that was the moment where I was like, oh my god, we're actually doing it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, brother.
Yep.
And then he didn't even know. She had to bash him over the head with a freaking hammer, EliteAri.
She called him John. I was like, that's the name. That's the guy. Oh my god.
True, that is his name, EliteAri. You didn't know that last time.
Yep.
True and true. Then my next note's to the silly things. But should we talk about general character stuff first, EliteAri, or should we go into my potential complaints, EliteAri?
We can start with character stuff. Let's not complain yet.
Let's go in order. So I don't think any of us have said the word Angela yet, which is she is probably one of my least favorite characters. Not least favorite, but the least interesting characters in the show. Is this a problem? Is this representative of a higher issue, EliteAri?
Well, I don't agree, so I don't know. It's up to you to decide, I guess.
Do you love Angela? What do you think about Angela, EliteAri? That's the topic we're on.
I like a few things about Angela, and one of the scenes with her is probably one of my favorite scenes. That's probably not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite scenes. The thing I like about Angela is, I don't know, there's a few, I don't know what the best way to characterize it or say it, but it's like her reactions to things that are very, I don't know, unexpected in a way. Or like very nonchalant or whatever. I don't know how to say it. The example I think to immediately, well, there's like two of them, okay? There's one of them where Dr. Manhattan reveals that this is the moment that I fell in love with you, and she's like, really? It took you all this time to like love me or whatever? And she's like kind of mad about it, like that kind of reaction. And then there's a scene at the end where her grandfather's like, you can't break an omelet without making it, or break it, whatever, making a few eggs or whatever. And she's like, what the fuck does that mean? And she's like kind of upset about it, or has no idea what's happening. Those type of reactions are like, oh, this is an interesting character. I like these kind of reactions. The second element to the character that I like is the fact, it is, I guess, her like backstory or whatever, with like her entire family dying, and then her grandma comes, then the grandma dies, and the fact that she witnesses that from both her perspective and her grandfather's perspective, who like obviously loved her grandmother in like another way. And like my favorite moment, or the moment I was saying is like one of my favorites, is at the end where she's inviting the grandpa to stay with her for a few days, and it's like, oh, this is like all she's ever wanted. She's just wanted like someone, you know, someone who is part of her heritage to kind of be with her for a little bit, you know, more than like a few minutes, you know, a few days will be enough. Even obviously she probably doesn't mean that. He's going to stay there for a longer time, but I don't know. I thought all this stuff it emotionally landed for me. It was probably like the emotional climax of the show, I guess, was that big moment where she invited him to stay, I guess. So yeah, her character worked for me. Nothing too amazing. Like, it's not outside of that. There's nothing too interesting. But I like those small things, I think yeah.
I think this does transition well into my first silly thing, EliteAri. And I think I liked Angela enough. I think the her and Manhattan stuff is pretty bad. And I think it makes both of them very like weird and like uninteresting. And it's probably the worst thing in the show, I think. Because as soon as he gets revealed, well, first of all, there's like, I don't buy that either of them are in love with each other at all, and it feels very weird. Like, I absolutely bought like before the reveal, her and the husband. I thought that they were like they had chemistry, and obviously this is like the most lovable guy ever, and she's like the grumpy one or whatever, and it's like a funny little flip on the genders or whatever. Then the Manhattan reveal of like Dr. Manhattan in this is very off and very not interesting at all, I think. Like, he's very obsessed with love, which is something he didn't really care about. Well, who cares about the changes, Lyra? You got to stop me. But I don't know. It's just like the line when he's like, oh, this is why I love you, because she was going to fight for him in that moment. And I'm like, wouldn't all of his ex-girlfriends have done that? Like, wouldn't any girl?
This is the thing you see like commented on every video. Well, the whole satisfying moment there is that his first girlfriend left him when he was dying, and it's like he feels like this is the one person who has finally stayed for him when he's
and she watched him, whereas she didn't. But like, Laurie would have done this, right?
Well, she didn't, right? She didn't have an opportunity even. Well, did she? Was there a moment where
she didn't have an opportunity. But it feels like this is just like, why did he choose this girl is more like the point.
I don't think she chose the girl, right? It's just like part of.
Well, I guess that's probably part of the point. Is more of the fatalistic thing.
Yeah.
but that's lame.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you think that's lame, I would say all of Dr. Manhattan is pretty lame then, right? What's like the interesting thing to you about
love
Dr. Manhattan?
aspect is different. Everything else is because it's not like human, like it's not human. The rest of it, which is like cool, but the love stuff is very particularly like a human emotion, I think.
Yeah, what do you? I don't get it. Like, when I understand what you're saying about like when he becomes blue, then there's no more chemistry and it's not as interesting. I don't understand the like why the moment of like him realizing that this is the moment he loves her, why that wouldn't land. I understand the chemistry. Maybe that moment you're saying it doesn't have chemistry, but the actual like
it feels like
yeah.
Well, it feels like for him to be especially in love with a girl, it has to be like a very special girl that would have very intrinsic meaning or something. And it feels like Angela's just like a random girl. I guess you could say that's the point, but I don't like that point. But I don't
get the why would that be the point? I don't get the point bit. I don't think it's the point.
Well, that like he likes random things, right? That was like his whole thing. That's why he came back to Earth.
I don't know. Maybe is that a comic book thing? I don't know this.
Well, yeah, it was in the movie too, Leary, so maybe you should freaking pay attention.
He came back to Earth because it was a random thing? What does that mean?
Oh, because it was such a random possibility for Laurie to be there in that moment, and that was a miracle or something. A hyper, what do you call it?
A thermodynamic
science
miracle,
thing, Leary.
Yeah.
Thermodynamic, Leary. I know science.
Yes.
True, and him falling in love with Angela out of all girls was thermodynamic or something. That would be the point aspect. But I don't even know about that. But also, Angela's like, I don't know, like she feels like in the initial scene they meet, she feels like her, but in like the scenes where before he changes, it feels like why would she be with him? Like she doesn't seem like the type of person that would be with him at all. And then even afterwards, it's weird. I don't know.
No, I don't blame you for any of that. I think that's fine. Like, I think that to me would come down to like a chemistry thing. They don't have any cute. Besides, I would actually disagree if you're talking about the bar scene. I actually like the bar scene, the flirting they have there, or like the weird, like unintentional flirting.
Well,
I like
yeah,
that.
That was fine.
Yeah, but then after that, when it's like them and like they're having sex together, or they're choosing the body together, and like those scenes, I would agree it's like not the most compelling relationship stuff. So
because the like fight they have is like identical to kind of the fight that him and Laurie have more so in the comic book. In the movie, it's more hammed up, I guess. So even that was like, oh, so it's kind of still the same. But also there's like Dr. Manhattan is like a raging like kind of partial misogynist in the comic book, which I think is super interesting. Like he does leave that girl because she got old. And and he is like annoyed with Laurie for being like silly. And like, I think this was completely cut from the movie, but he like gets with Laurie when she's like 16 or something. And he like comments about, that's like one of the things he likes about her and stuff like that. So he's kind of like creepy too. And I don't know, it's kind of the Watchmen comic and even the movie is like, I think we talked about this even. It's like oddly misogynistic in some sense of like Laurie is like a dumb bitch and she's like really annoying and she cares about dumb woman stuff. And it's like clearly we think that women care about dumb things. That's kind of the ethos of the writing. And I think that bleeds over into Dr. Manhattan's character. And I think that's why he even has girlfriends at all, because obviously a guy has to have girlfriends to like fuck or something. Whereas here that stuff is like removed and it feels really different. It also feels like I feel like this guy and Laurie would have like worked out or something. That was another thing I was disappointed in at the end, where like they didn't really have an interaction. She was like scared for him, but they didn't like say anything. But it was like the opposite with Adrian, where Adrian and Laurie had a bunch of scenes together, and that was like really cool. But that's like a completely different conversation. But truly,
well, I have no opinion on this, because to me, the problem is that this is my first Dr. Manhattan. This is the one that is this is his characterization in my mind, so I don't really have like a reference. I don't know.
It's my last, or is it?
True. Yep, he's dead. He'll never come back.
That's true. He did die at the end. Yep. I guess one of my other complaints is like all this like trying to become Manhattan thing and like the cages they had him in. I thought all that was silly. I think is like
wait, those are two separate things. What do you mean in terms of like I can understand the motivation of like the white supremacists or whatever, and what do you I guess what are you saying there?
Well,
is silly.
Probably fine. I don't know. It's like, how did they come up with this idea or think it was possible? Whatever. It's science, something.
Yeah, I completely buy that. It's a science fiction story. Yeah, you can come up with reasons. Yeah, I would.
Science fiction is lame, and we should never do it.
True. I'm not gonna argue. Go ahead.
Well, what was the second point, O'Leary?
I cut you off before then. I don't know.
Let me think, O'Leary. Let me think. True. Oh, he was like a weakling EliteAri. Why didn't he just kill all these guys? That was kind of frustrating. But whatever.
Well,
Power
has
scalers.
has he ever done something incredibly strong?
He
like
destroyed the whole
comic?
Vietnamese army.
Well, I'm curious if it was different, because I've obviously only seen that in the... I guess they adapted a little bit in this show, but they also show it mainly in the movie. But in that, he comes across as pretty weak there too, right? He's just a big guy, and he's shooting people one by one, and it's not like he's doing a big mass like attack or anything like that. In the comic book, is it portrayed differently?
He can take apart a thing in an instant, right?
Well, he has the capacity to, but we never see it, right? Well, if we do see it, we see it on a small scale.
Well, you do see him take apart machines and stuff.
Well, at a very small scale, right?
Like, well, no, he takes like the whole massive thing, right? Even in the movie, I think in the movie it's like worse.
What I'm trying to...
the bombs he's creating?
The thing I'm trying to contend with here is that you're saying that, like, he feels not as powerful, is what you were saying, right?
Well, it felt like he was depowered so we could capture him.
Yeah, and I'm trying to say that, like... I haven't read the original, but even in that first movie, like, he gets captured by Adrian without, like... He just gets destroyed, and then because of the fact that he can bring himself back together is what lets him live, right? But he does get captured by him and disintegrated.
Well, yeah, but that's also because he's like, he can't see that. Well, can he see the future? No, he can see the future now, right? It's like nothing was fucking with his future seeing, because that's the only reason Adrian like got it.
Well, the cage does. It messes with his mind, and yeah, the cage definitely messes with.
Oh, this is before he was in the cage. This is when they shot him with the gun.
Well, the implication is that... Well, what do you mean? Like, the reason he couldn't escape the... Well, he... Okay, wait, The Adrian thing, throughout the entire... I can only talk about the movie, but throughout the entire movie, he can't see what happens in the Adrian section because of the cage thing that Adrian puts him in, which is that hallway, right? Similarly here, he can't see...
Well, no, there's no cage in the movie. The hallway is just like a big...
That's what I'm saying, symbolic cage, which is the hallway, right? I don't know.
Well, no, it's because he... Well, I don't know how they explained it in the movie.
Well, it's only the original.
Well, in the original, he can't see anything past the world, the squid.
Yeah, what's the answer? Like, why was that the case?
Well, because the tachyons were in his brain or something. Because he has the realization when he's in Antarctica, like, oh my god, I'm a human right now because I can't see what's going to happen in like the next minute. And he's very excited. Whereas in the movie, they say it at the beginning that he can't see like anything anymore.
Wait, so what? It was the squid? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, no, Adrian was attacking him with something, so he couldn't... What was the explanation? It was just... I remember John's explanation for it is because nuclear war is going to happen and he can't see after that.
Yeah, but that was wrong, right?
Yes, because it was Adrian's squid instead. But he is... For some reason, in the base, he couldn't do it. He didn't know the future EliteAri. I don't remember exactly why.
Well, then my logic would be that whatever Adrian did there is what they just did to the box.
Well, I'm talking about before he's in the box.
Yeah, but he had to be in the box. What do you mean? In the same way, he had to end up in Antarctica. He had to end up
because he knows
he couldn't see the future.
When they're having dinner.
When they said that when he was in the box, he said, "My mind is scrambled. He's going between all these different times. He can't be coherent here." It's like they were messing with his ability to perceive things, like to be present in the moment, which is why he was struggling
when he was in the box.
When he was in the box, yeah,
but not before where he was in the box where he forgot about
before the
that
box.
One
he was
guy
very coherent. Yeah.
So why did he let that guy shoot him to get him in the box?
Let him. He has no agency. He sees the future as though it's like a fact. He can't change things.
Well, that is true, but that doesn't make any sense either.
Well, yeah, but that's all of Dr. Manhattan.
But, like, why would he be sad at the... Wait, what was my original complaint anyway?
You were saying you didn't feel powerful enough, and you felt weird that they captured him in a cage.
True, he should have just blown him up.
He should have just blown Adrian up when he showed up at the thing at the end, in the comic book.
Well, true. Well, maybe it's a complaint with both of them.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that would make sense. But I haven't seen the original, so yeah, true. I think it's sufficiently powerful, and I bought it when he got trapped. Okay.
No, that was silly. And this stupid cage was silly too. Battery parts or something. Silly EliteAri.
Oh yeah, I was curious. Is that like a thing in the comic book? Because I don't know where that came from. The battery reference.
No, I got no idea about no battery watch parts or something.
Yeah.
Lithium batteries. Doesn't he make like all the cars out of lithium or something? Maybe there is something there, EliteAri, but I don't remember it in enough detail.
Interesting.
Anyway, him being in the box was lame.
Him being in the box was sick. Oh my god.
Lame.
Humanity captured a god. Can you believe it, Kyle? It was crazy.
Lame. Now, what else did I write down for that part? How did this anti-Dr. Manhattan stuff work? What does that mean?
Just exactly what we talked about.
No, I don't think so, because that's a different note. Oh, another silly thing. Why are the Rorschach people so evil, and why didn't we get any explanation for them?
Wait, you mean the 7th Cavalry, the people in the Rorschach mask?
Mm-hmm.
Why would this white supremacist?
That was something they mentioned in the other stuff too, but I don't remember it in enough detail at all.
Mentioned in what?
I feel like that was in the movie and in the comic book or something.
Rorschach was in the movie. Oh, the 7th Cavalry, the name, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't remember
that's right.
it
It's
at
like a
all.
historical thing, I think.
Okay,
of like
maybe.
in the Civil War, maybe.
But why were they white supremacists?
Well, it's like they feel like it's a very particular type, and they're like here. And I was waiting for like an explanation, but the explanation is just like they got reparations, I guess. And well, no, because the backstory is 3 years ago they like set it all up, which is like I'm confused on the timeline, I guess, of like why in this particular area are these Rorschach people that are so mad about this particular. I guess maybe it's like because it's in Tulsa, and that was the side of the original big massacre.
Yeah, it's a heritage thing. I think heritage is a big part of the story. I think it's also like the premise of the story. Like this story doesn't exist without the white supremacists, like people from Tulsa who are involved in Angela and Hooded Justice's history, who then gets involved with Manhattan. Like I think it's all integral to the beginning of it. But why did I guess I don't get your question. What are you asking?
It was like lame that it wasn't a more fleshed out or cooler, I guess.
I guess I don't understand. Like to me, I think it makes sense. Like there's the guy back in the day, like he. Well, it depends what you like. You're talking about the senator guy or whatever. Like that guy maybe was not fleshed out. I don't know.
Well, no, I don't know. It's like a feeling I got, and my explanation for it is that it wasn't fleshed out. But who's that true EliteAri? I don't freaking know.
The stuff with Judd, whatever he was like, I don't know what his position was, the captain or whatever, the big guy who gets suicided at the beginning.
Yeah, chief police or something.
Like he makes sense. Where I'm pretty sure, if I'm understanding correctly, his grandpa was in that first, or maybe his dad or grandpa or whatever was in that first massacre scene we see.
Probably,
he was probably in a position of power then, and then he's kind of like bestowed his white supremacist beliefs onto his children, and now that they see the balance of power has changed, where it's like there is no more white supremacy in this world, they kind of want to go back to that world. I don't know. That's just that'd be the simple reading, right? So it makes sense.
True. I didn't say it didn't make sense. I said it was lame.
Well, you said that it was like not fleshed out or whatever.
True.
So I don't know. Is it lame? I don't know. It's hard to say that like white supremacy.
Maybe it's
like
that racism is just retarded, so
it's
hard to take seriously, O'Leary, and I'm an anti-race.
Yeah. So did you find any of the race stuff in the show interesting? I guess because I found it somewhat interesting.
Sure, it's interesting enough. I'm just talking about the 7th Cavalry themselves or something.
Okay. Well,
they are hateable, but only at the first half. By the second half, you're like, who cares about these racist guys? But they did have a plan. But the lady was onto their plan, so they didn't matter too much.
True.
Now, what else did I have written down for bad things, EliteAri? Can't believe everybody survived this time. Oh, true. This is a different thing. It's clear that we're kind of like doing a parallel towards the end. And I was like excited when he was like going to reign the great Ozymandias, EliteAri, the greatest character of all time, my favorite guy. And he's going to do it again, EliteAri. He's going to kill everybody in Tulsa to save the world. And I was excited for this. But then, because I was like, even like, oh, remember the greatest part of that comic book where all the side characters died because they were in New York? And you're like, man, all the side characters died. That's upsetting, even if all of our main characters were in Antarctica. And that's when I was like, oh, that's why that red guy exists. And that's why that other girl exists. So they can die now and can be a little sad about it. And then they survived, EliteAri. I was mad.
Okay. I mean, I agree. I think he oversold that, like, ice thing. He's like, oh, it'll be like a Gatling gun fire. And I'm like, what? That's going to be cool. I don't remember this. And then it didn't happen.
You could just hide in a car, EliteAri?
Yeah, exactly. That was very disappointing. That is true.
The kids should have died too. Have some balls.
I didn't need anyone to die. I just needed it to be more believable or like match up with his words, I guess.
But true. And then my last silly thing was the anti-Ozymandias propaganda, EliteAri.
So you agree with the for the greater good kind of idea that he has, or
well,
what?
no, I really like that the comic book just validated him the whole time, and he caught that fucking bullet because he actually is the god on Earth, and he's the greatest of all time. He caught the bullet again in the show, EliteAri. Remember that?
That was
now,
sick, yeah.
But true. And then this Laurie bitch arrested him at the end, EliteAri. I was freaking hopping mad about it.
Yeah, but she said she was also going to arrest the president, which was pretty cool. It's like, whoa, I guess you can just do that. Oh my goodness.
Yep. But we were doing characters before this. Those were all the silly things, EliteAri. Now, Second character. Oh, let's talk about the grandfather earlier, because that episode was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, you liked it? Or the black and white one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I liked it when he killed all those guys. That was
how about
cool
first
too.
we talk about the American Hero Story or whatever it was called?
The fake outs?
Yeah, where it's like throughout the show there is like the through line in the background of this American hero story, which
and
is like a retelling,
retarded over the top
right?
action, like the movie that you like.
Yeah, true. It has like really over the top action. It has like there was the one scene with the giant trigger warning about all these like different things that are going to be in the show. And like, oh, it's very funny. I like that. But it is cool where it's like we slowly are watching the story of Hooded Justice, this fake story that they've pieced together through like fake account or like accounts they think are real, which are like somewhat real. Like he was gay or whatever, and they had like a gay scene there.
True.
So yeah, so it was kind of.
And then it was funny because the in the episode 5 or whatever, which was the southern guy, the mask guy. He was like watching the scene of the two guys fucking, and I was like, "Is this supposed to reveal that this guy is gay?" But later he had a girlfriend, and I think it was just he was watching the show. I was like, "Oh, he's watching gay porn." But no, I think it's just in the show. So.
It is. It's just the show. But yeah, just to say, I liked them all. I liked those scenes. I liked how different they felt, like how over dramatic they were, like when you're watching them, and like the interrogation scene of like Hooded Justice when he's there, and there's like the two police officers, and it's like very clearly this is a white guy here, and he takes his face up as a white guy, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. They just got it so wrong.
It's also interesting that it seems like that thing is kind of trying to like show it's like a bad way of trying to be inclusive or something by having the main character, the Hooded Justice in this thing, be gay, but it's like clearly portrayed as like a weird thing, but also like is the covering up of history, right? Because he's supposed to be empowering because he was black, but like no, it's a white gay guy, and that's like more even that's like more sanitizable than even possibly being a black superhero or something, which is like an interesting commentary piece. But sure, I remember those cops, they were being funny or something, and then he killed them.
That's right, and it was cool. And he like took his helmet off or whatever, his hood. I was like, this is crazy. He's revealing his identity. Oh my god. But yeah.
And he was a handsome young man.
Yep.
Now you know what was else was cool in the real flashback when he came out of the cop place and it was just a door in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I mean the directing of that episode, it was really good. And it's not just like really good in that it's like, oh, they like got black and white and stuff, and it is like the stuff with the doors where they're transitioning scenes to scene. It's the stuff where it's like a continuous long shot and they switch between him and Angela. It's also the stuff where it's like there are parts of the scene that are in color and not in color, and there's parts of the scene from like when the lady's playing the piano in the background, it's like from a different time and it's not necessarily there, and the bit where it's like the cop car's driving by and behind it you have the reveal of like the people being dragged behind it. Like, oh, it's just so much cool directing stuff in this episode specifically. I agree, it's really cool. The door was in the street was the coolest thing ever.
Something you mentioned earlier that was one of my favorite scenes in the show when we were talking about Angela was the scene where like she met her grandmother, and that like scene they had
when she's little,
where they were talking. Well, yeah, which first of all, the little girl was good. I liked her, and she was very cute to leader, and it made me like, oh, we got to save this little girl.
True.
And also, the superhero she was from the DVD she wasn't allowed to watch. Can you believe that? Now, but true, the grandmother showed up to save her, and then she freaking died, Illyrio. But the cool thing was the scene. But what was so great about the scene, Illyrio? I can't really recall.
The scene of her dying or the scene together?
No, the scene of them talking.
Oh, there's like... I agree, it's a very good scene. I'm trying to... There's like a lot of small things they talk about. Yeah, because...
they were flashing to things, too.
Well, the thing is, it was like... There's certain moments. I don't know what you would like about this. There's like the moment where she's asking Angela, like, why aren't you allowed to watch this thing? And she's like, oh, my dad says the people in masks or whatever. And then the grandma's talking about her dad, because she knew the dad when he was a kid, and we saw that scene earlier with him as a kid, and he was scared by the Hooded Justice. And,
or something,
it's like the dialogue there kind of meaning something different to Angela than it does to us, and also kind of meaning something different to Angela in the present, who's witnessing all these things. And I like
because
that stuff.
The scene doubles as like a payoff for the grandmother's character and for like an explanation for where Angela comes from, and we like have met, and because it seems like usually like that you've seen scenes like that before, but it's usually just from the kid's perspective, and you don't really have insight into the older person. But you had the full insight of both.
Yep.
So it was like doubly dynamic or something. But true, that was very good.
There's also the fact that she'll let the girl like watch that thing because her dad didn't, and it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting. And also like the fact that she chose that because it was like the only character that looked like her when she was in the shop, and it's like, oh, that's very cute.
Yeah, the representation thing, that was cute.
I
have that under the politics section of Leadering. Now the I was gonna say something. Oh, it was also cute. They had funny interactions because when she like immediately gets there and the lady from the orphanage is yelling at her, she's like, she always yell at you like this or something.
True.
It's like immediately cute and likable. It's like, oh my god, she's saved. And I remember before she collapsed, I'm like, wait, she meets her husband in Vietnam, so she's not gonna go back. I wonder how we're gonna explain this or something. And then she dropped dead EliteAri. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And the music was playing, and I don't know what the song was, but music, I was like, this is perfect. I really like it. I'm curious what you think about the music, actually, because you said you didn't like it at all. The main song... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the last one... Well, the last one was because of the music cues. Here, it was good because I didn't recognize any of the songs, I don't think. But also, the main theme was really good. And I know I've definitely heard it a million times before this, and I didn't know it was from this, but... the ominous one that's played all the time. Also, they were using a lot of the now I think this is actually a reference to the film because they were using all the classical music, especially in the Ozymandias scenes, which is what happened at the end of the last movie. So okay, we can take that from the movie, but I don't want to see any other references, O'Leary. My goodness. And other than that, it is frighteningly fascinating how much they don't. Besides Ozymandias really looking like the guy from the older version of the guy from the movie, nothing else is like similar at all.
Yeah.
And it was crazy when they showed that fucking squid EliteAri. I was marking out like I was a Watchmen fan in 2019 waiting for it episode after episode. And they actually showed it in episode 5 or whatever. So shit was crazy.
Yep.
That's under the references part of the conversation, EliteAri. We're not up to that yet. But true, the grandmother was good, but we were talking about the grandfather, EliteAri.
Well, you know what also is good? And this could just be me not paying enough attention. It was a different actor, right, for the grandma? Or was it the same actor as the young grandma? Like was it her in makeup or was it like not makeup? But
no,
like
I don't know. I think it was a different actress.
Yeah, it was good casting. Where I was like, this feels like the exact same person. So yeah, that's it about the grandma.
I agree. Now, the grandfather, he was angry, EliteAri, and he was gay.
He was
or bi.
Yes.
And he also saved that girl.
He married the girl he saved.
True, his sister. No, that's crazy.
What do you want to say about him?
Something else to say about him. I'm sure there was, EliteAri. But he joined the force, and they tried to lynch him, EliteAri. That wasn't very nice.
It's true. I think I don't know. It's really good. Like, even just the first scene where they're on the stage and they're all getting the awards, and it's like the white guy is giving the award, the badges to everyone, and he's like, he waits for the black guy because that's the only one who's going to give it to him or whatever. And it's like, it is funny because it's like, initially you're like, oh, this is like terrible, and it is terrible, but at the same time, he's kind of happy because this is the one black guy on the force that he looks up to. I don't know. There's like small things like that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like interracial politics too, because even his sister wife is like mad at him for joining the police because the police are like bad. And then even the guy that he joined for seems to have the same opinion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he's immediately getting undermined everywhere. And that's why he had to become a vigilante, EliteAri. And then his boyfriend was saying all the racist things to EliteAri.
Yeah, this is like another like element I liked about this, which is that it is like there's a payoff. I think I'm pretty sure it's in this episode because we get his full backstory, I'm sure, in this episode. But there is a great payoff with Judd at the end where Judd is like out front of the tree or whatever. He's been hypnotized or whatever to be standing in front of there, and he's talking to Will, and he says that like, I'm doing this to help you people. And it's like, man, like that's it's just like, it's a moment of like, it feels like that's what Will has experienced his entire life. Even, especially when he brought up the, what's his name? He had a name, Metropolis Man or whatever.
Captain Metropolis?
Yeah, that guy. When it's like, he said the same thing to him back in the day, where it's like this white guy who may actually think he might be trying to help you, but he's really in it for himself. He doesn't care much about your struggle at all. And it's like, that's just what Will's life has been filled with. And obviously, on top of all the racism and just death and hatred and everything. So I don't know, I like that element of like the through line where it's like he's just constantly faced with these people who are like, they don't care about him at all. Even if like people like Metropolis or Judd are like saying that they do, they don't really at all. I don't know, I like that. That's what I think about the Metropolis Man. True.
It was fascinating that he left him all the stuff at the end.
Yeah, that is true. He's living in his house.
There's also a thing, now this is interesting, because the show does reference the comic in a bunch of very small ways. But it avoids every big way. So we have the scene where it's him in Metropolis like posing, and behind them are supposed to be all the characters. but it's like we don't see them at all. And I think that's like an interesting choice of like, do we cast the comedian and have him back there, or is that just like distracting and irrelevant? Do we shoot the scene where? Go ahead.
Well, I think the comedian, the only reason I think the comedian you can tell it's him is because Eric from Blind Move was like, is that the comedian? And he like pointed at him, and I was like, I have no idea.
Well, yeah, you can see the silhouettes. You see the moth guy. You can see them all.
Yeah.
And you can see two of them are girls, and those are our girls. But even then, that's like a direct scene from the comic book. So,
okay.
In the comic book, I don't think he was beating up a black guy on the poster, but true. But yeah, it's just like and even later, like I was like, are we gonna get a flashback to like Rorschach and the owl guy like attacking Adrian at the thing? It's like how much fan service is too much fan service? How much is like distracting from it? I don't know. I was kind of disappointed when it was like a close shot, and I was just like, I want to see them. But that's just like I want to see the comic book stuff.
I read an interview about this. It was a pretty interesting, like he had a bunch of stuff in this interview, but one of them was they talked about like balancing fan service and stuff, and well, not fan service. It was like about balancing the past versus the new, and they even talked about like Rise of Skywalker and stuff. I was like, this is interesting. It was David. What's his name? Dave Lindelof, or whatever, the guy who created this. I don't know what his name is, but Damon. That's right, Damon Lindelof. And he was talking about how like they have enough from the old show where it's like if they added any more, it probably would have been a lot more like really leaning on the past, because they do have a significant amount. They have obviously Dr. Manhattan, they have Adrian, they have Laurie, they have there's like other stuff too. I don't know. There's like a bunch of people. There's obviously Kid with Justice. There's obviously all the Minutemen references and stuff, and there's a whole TV show about the past characters, and there's a lot of stuff from the past that's in this. So they just kind of, I think he's just said that like we basically didn't want to like lean more on that stuff because we already have enough of it. There was also just one more thing you might find interesting is that they also said that they had I don't think they filmed it, but they basically spent a lot of time trying to come up with a scene to get Blake and Dr. Manhattan to talk together, and in the end they just like cut it all. They're like, whatever. Like they said that in the writer's room we had like a lot of time talking about how we can do this, and they said that you can like imply the conversations because she talks about how she met Calvin and stuff like when he was like a black guy, but we don't actually see the scenes, I guess. But yeah,
because I complained about that earlier when they were in the prison and she didn't say anything. Well, she just said John or something. But true. Well, I guess that was another thing I was supposed to bring up when I was complaining. Because I'm way more invested in like Laurie talking to Dr. Manhattan than I am like Angela talking to Dr. Manhattan, and we clearly focused on one over the other.
True.
Especially this Laurie, who was very interesting. But true. The grandfather. Oh, the only other thing was something else about the Minutemen shot where we didn't see him. But what the fuck was I going to say, Larry?
They were advertising a bank or something, and there was a black guy being kidnapped.
Captain Metropolis did originally come from a bank or something. A bank decided it would be good if one of their spokesperson was that was a thing in the comic. I don't remember what I was going to say, EliteAri, but true. I guess we can talk about the old characters because we already kind of talked about Dr. Manhattan. Ozymandias is completely different than both versions.
Because I was going to say, based on what you told me, I was like, oh, this feels a lot more in line with the character that you told me about.
No, the personality is completely off.
Interesting.
But like, I think it's supposed to be like, oh, he's gone crazy, and that's like why he's crazy.
Well, yeah, but we do get one scene of him with Dr. Manhattan where he's like not crazy,
and he is a little less crazy, but it's still not. It's still kind of goofy. He doesn't really feel like the man I idolize, EliteAri. But I still liked it because it was very entertaining, and all the stuff he was doing and the mystery and all that stuff was true. But even Laurie is like incredibly different. And she's like probably my favorite character in the whole show. So there's nothing wrong with being different except for Dr. Manhattan. That was bad, EliteAri. Now, I don't know. It's just a bit disappointing, EliteAri, to bring your word back into it. I didn't bring up that word. You brought it up, EliteAri. Now, the Ozymandias stuff, he's much more... Honestly, I think when this came out, a lot of people were mad that Rorschach was positioned as like a white supremacist or something, which he kind of already was. So that's a whole different story. But also, that's not really the point of them wearing the masks and stuff like that. I feel like if you were a big Ozymandias fan, it would be like you would be much madder about this character assassination, EliteAri, because it definitely makes him seem like a goofy idiot who like was clearly kind of wrong. But I didn't really care about that. I'm just bringing this up, EliteAri. But he was goofy. He was what, EliteAri? You got something to say?
No, how can I possibly have anything to say? I don't have like this is my Ozymandias. I love this guy. He's great.
True. But yes, Ozymandias is a very serious fellow, EliteAri. He looks at the TV screens and he comes up with great ideas, and he feels like the wisest man. And that's kind of, it's like adds to the fact that he came up with this crazy idea, and it's like, oh, maybe I should respect it because this guy's way smarter than me, and he's like a serious guy. He's got his stuff together, EliteAri. Who am I to judge him? And this all adds into the element, and that's why we worship. Now, but true, it's a very different thing. But even then, like when anything implied that he was right or it was anything like that, I was always freaking out, EliteAri. There was a lot of that in the actual scenes, but like I can't think of any examples. This is why I should write down Naruto notes for everything, EliteAri. But like even like when his servants were actually Dr. Manhattan servants, were like after they're doing the big monologue in the church or whatever, on the trial or whatever, and then she winks at him, I'm like, don't worry, everybody loves the great Ozymandias here. And all that little stuff. I was like, oh, this is great. But also, there's something about because they frame it initially as like, I think in episode 1, there's a newspaper that says like, oh, he's dead. And I was like, oh.
Officially declared dead, yeah.
But yeah, then it's obvious that he's not. And then it's like, well, what is this? Or why does the public think he's dead, etc. And that's fleshed out later. But there was a framing to that also made it like, oh, he's just like on his own in a mansion because part of him like going crazy, you kind of feel like it because the note you leave him on is him like asking John if he did the right thing, and then he's just like looking out the window after he doesn't get any answer, and he's like pondering EliteAri because he's a smart guy, and he's always looking out the window because he's seeing the visions. EliteAri, he's on the horizon and stuff. He's a smart guy. So it makes sense that if he's just thinking about that, he's just sort of devolved into like playing around and being silly and stuff like that. So I guess I liked it.
Well, I don't know
because of that.
I don't think any of that. He just wanted thanks. Like that's why he wanted to leave. He was like tired of people not really understanding or like giving him the credit for what he did. That's the reason he left.
This is kind of true. And I saw one of the videos I watched tried to frame him getting arrested at the end as him getting like what he wants, because if he gets arrested and everybody finds out what he's done, well, like, they'll like it.
I don't know about that. I think he wants the praise. He doesn't want people to hate him. Like he wants what he thought he wanted was to have those mindless servants on Europa to worship him. But in reality, what he wanted was like, he wanted that, but he also wanted a worthy adversary, right? He wanted someone like True that he could kind of like contend with.
True. Yeah, but then he has a line about like, oh, what does he say? He says, I wanted to come to heaven because you people would need me, but like my 8 billion people are the ones that need me or something, which is like he wants everybody to act like this, but he wants all the humans to act like this, not the Manhattan.
Sure. Yeah. But I think his central thing is about like, he wants to be the great. He wants to be worshipped. He wants to be remembered. He wants a legacy.
Yes.
Right. A legacy is a big part of the show, obviously, and he is the example.
Which is part of the comic character. It's just in a very different, like more serious.
Sure. Yeah.
Thing, I think, or packaging. But Ozymandias was good, EliteAri. I expected that to be your favorite stuff in the whole show.
I mean, I love it. It's great. I guess I haven't. What would I say is my favorite stuff? I don't know, actually. I don't think there is a clear, like, oh, this is, like, easily my favorite stuff in the show. There really isn't.
I feel like if this stuff was a movie on a digest, EliteAri would give it a 5 out of 5. This was such wacky and you something. It was like the type of comedy you liked, except for the fart stuff, EliteAri. Thoughts on the fart stuff?
Oh, the one fart scene? Yeah, I was like, why are we doing this? Besides that, yeah, it was all good. Like at the end where he's like, was I a worthy adversary? I was like, no.
But then he says his daughter was at the end.
True. Well, he also said, but you put on a hell of a show. And the way he says it, I like the actor. The actor's really good. Like
True.
The way he
That's
delivers
like a famous
dialogue.
Actor.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Jeremy Irons or something his name is. He had a cool name.
True.
But I ain't seen him in anything. There was, EliteAri, I'll see if you also thought this way. There was one actress where I was like, I painfully know this actress from somewhere, but I couldn't figure it out, but I eventually figured it out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Would I know them from this thing?
Yes.
I
think. I actually don't know, but I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
Obviously, your answer is no, EliteAri, because it wasn't eating you alive. Now I'm going to give you more context to see if you can figure it out. So we're playing a little game here. It's the girl, it's the love interest that ends up being a Rorschach girl in the Hillbilly.
No, I have no idea.
She was Katniss's mother from the Hunger Games, EliteAri, and it was fucking with me.
I don't know the Hunger Games.
Have you seen the Hunger Games?
I mean, I've technically seen the first two, but I don't remember anything about it.
True, she's in all 4 of them, EliteAri, but I just recognized her, but she clearly looked older than I remembered, and I started looking through, was she in a Mad Men episode, was she in a Sopranos episode, and I was going through all of it, and I didn't even look at the film section, then I saw Hunger Games EliteAri. Wow. I said, that is Katniss's mother, of course. There was another massive one in this EliteAri, who was a big Mad Men actor, which is Bob Benson, was the fucking senator. He's the main bad guy. He's a massive Mad Men character, and it also spoiled that he was going to be evil. Because obviously, this is also he's in Mad Men. He's like a very likable guy at the beginning, and then you figure out, this is a bad guy and you realize he has like a bad guy face, and you're like, so this guy's gonna be a bad guy in this too. I can just tell, the great Bob Benson. So that was also this was crazy because there was like a bunch of Mad Men people in that Fox News movie I'd watched just previously. So I was on a Mad Men tickler. I haven't seen any of these idiots in anything for 10 years since I finished watching Mad Men for the first time. And back to back to back, they've been in a bunch of stuff. But also, it was kind of fascinating because this is like a main role.
Yep. I think the only actor that I recognized was Dr. Manhattan. Oh, not Dr. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan. But also, I think I only recognize him because I've known him from this. So I don't know. But I know obviously he's Wonder Man as well.
He did look familiar.
He's in a Black Mirror episode, I think. But that's basically all I know him from. But yeah.
But true.
But I have to say, though, in terms of performances, I think there's 2 that really stand out. One I would say is Ozymandias. I think it's a very good performance. The other one to me is Will, like the older Grandpa Will. I think it's a really every time he would say something, I'd be like, oh, the way he's saying it is like so cool, and I really liked it.
I think I've come around on the Southern accents, EliteAri. I think I liked them all in this show. I thought they sounded good, and usually I think they sound bad.
That's lovely. Good to hear.
I really like the way the mask guy sounded. I really like the way Bob Benson's guy was talking, even though in Mad Men he's got a New York accent. So that was very different.
Yep.
But true. I like him now, where I feel like if you'd asked me before, what's the worst accent, I would say Southern American.
What great character growth from you. Well done.
You know, this show, it's breaking stereotypes one at a time. Now, I love the white Southerner. I think that was the point of the show, right?
I don't think so. But it is. What did they say? It's tough being a white guy. What was the quote?
In America.
Yes. Was that what it was? Yeah, true. It was crazy.
So he's going to be blue, EliteAri.
That's right. Yep.
That was a good line. That is true. We're not up to the politics section yet, EliteAri.
Yep.
EliteAri, can you believe we haven't talked about my favorite character in the whole show yet?
Who are they? A woman or a man? Who is it?
There's 2 candidates, EliteAri. One of them's a woman, one of them's a man. We'll talk about whichever one you want to talk about first, but we're going to talk about the one that you guess. So let's go.
Well, you already said one of them was Laurie.
We kind of already talked about her, right?
Did we? I mean, there's probably a lot to talk about it. Okay, we can talk about her then. So
let's talk about Laurie. She was not the girl I was thinking of, by the way. So
interesting.
But true. Another great actress. Another very different role. She was really cool, and she was the best.
She is like in a very the point to which she gets introduced is like she is incredibly sarcastic and also like justifiably sarcastic, where she's getting annoyed at these people who are being dumb or like responding slow to her, and like
she's so competent.
Yeah, competent. Yeah, she's incredibly competent. Like she tells Looking Glass like take his dumb helmet off or whatever, and like she's like very she changes the dynamic of the show a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Glass guy. I don't know. So all of that, yeah.
And even his responses are good, where he's like, "I know that you know that it's Looking Glass or something."
Yep.
And she doesn't even fight him. She's just being funny.
True.
She's the best.
Yes. But is there more to say? Oh, I guess, like, I don't know where we'll talk about it, so we can talk about it now. But she has I like the big joke in the phone booth. What do you think about that?
True. Also, first, comedian, Lamau. True. Second, she was, like, lonely and stuff. Well, also, she had the big dildo, EliteAri, that,
True.
And she's got the owl in the cage, because apparently, EliteAri, there's some website that came out when the show came out that was like an ARG thing that gives you information. You already knew this, EliteAri. I'm supposed to be shocking you with this information now?
No, I've looked up stuff about the show, so I've learned some stuff.
So the Owl Man is in prison because they were caught being vigilantes again, and she had to join the FBI or something, I've been told.
Apparently,
so that makes sense. But also, so her motivation was kind of to get him out, but also it seems like she doesn't really care about him that much, which I kind of like, she got bored of him or whatever, and she kind of wants to get John back. But also, it's like a reference to the fact that the husband is the guy because of the dildo's name is Excalibur, and his name is Cal or something.
Oh,
and that's her ex. And A-Bar is the girl's name, so Excalibur.
Oh my god. That's kind of crazy.
It's like works on 3 levels. This is interesting because I think initially when I came out of the last episode of EliteAri, I was a little bit more disappointed in the show. And then I like the first thing I was bombarded with was about 100 of these little factoids about how clever the writing was. And I said, maybe I'm underestimating this show. Maybe it was genius or something.
True.
But and then maybe it brought me back up EliteAri. So there was other things. Oh, another thing is Lube Man EliteAri. I'm assuming you know who that is.
Well, the thing is, so I remember I watched the first time through and I thought, this is crazy. Why? Like, this guy came out of nowhere and it disappeared. But this time through, so what happened was, firstly, I'm assuming I know who he is because I looked it up afterwards and people were agreeing with me. But I saw the guy show up who was with Blake. The guy with whatever his name is. It was like Huey or something. What was it?
A new boyfriend?
Well, yeah, the young guy.
Petey,
that's right. I see him show up and I'm like, man, this guy's like reminding me of Lube Man a lot. Just the way he looked. And I was like, there's no way though. Like my memory is that they don't ever confirm it. So
and he loves superheroes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like talking about superheroes and stuff, and then he goes in the room and like has sex with her later, and I'm like, this is like
he's very skinny.
Yeah, and I'm like, this could easily be Lube Man. And then like I was like thinking about that in my mind, and then when Lube Man showed up, I'm like, this feels like he wouldn't just. Why would this be him or whatever? But then in the scene afterwards, he shows up and he's like a bit late to like come to the scene. He's like giving her information. I'm like, this is him. It confirms it. This is absolutely the PD guy. So yeah, so I pieced it together somehow the second time through. What did you think about this? It's a kind of crazy scene. Did you know about this?
I completely forgot about Lube Man, and then I was like, and then afterwards they were like, oh, it's the skinny guy, and I said, true, he was skinny.
Yep.
And I didn't think about him getting late to that meeting or whatever, but I'm sure that factors into it too, EliteAri. But I said that was a skinny guy.
I love that scene though. Like the music kicking in, the way they direct him sliding into the sewer like bit is
and when she catches him and he just like freezes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and he's in a very bright sun reflective outfit.
Yep. It's like this is the weirdness of this show, you know, just on full display here. So it was great.
That's the word I let off with EliteAri, weird. But I think I meant it in a bad way, not a descriptive way. Now,
I have something. I want to talk about this joke, okay? Because it was a thing where I'm like trying to piece together what's going on here, okay? So Laurie, she's in the phone booth. And cool, it is cool. She's like trying to talk to Dr. Manhattan in this phone booth. She's like a little depressed that he's not there. But she tells a joke, okay? So first, she tells the joke and messes it up. And I'm like, oh, she messed up the joke. I feel so bad for her. But then it turns out it was actually part of the bigger joke. And I thought that was genius, firstly. But I'm trying to piece it together. So firstly, she was talking about Night Owl. She's talking about, essentially the premise of the joke is someone is like, there's 3 people standing in front of God, and they're all like probably gonna go to hell, but they're all standing there asking, or God's asking them what they did. And the first guy's Night Owl, because he's saying that he was too soft or whatever, and he dressed up in a mask and did nothing, and it was too soft, so he goes to hell. Then you have Ozymandias.
Also penis.
Penis?
His penis was soft until he was a hero.
Maybe. Okay, I don't remember this detail, but perhaps. But then the second one is Ozymandias, who killed 3 million people with a squid and then was too cruel, so he went to hell.
Oh, this is a big thing, EliteAri, which I forgot to point out last time. But like in the comic book, he just blows up New York with the squid. But in the movie, he blows up like a bunch of cities.
True. Well, in this, it was
only 3 million people.
This one was just New York, yeah. Which makes sense if it's a continuation, you know, of the great comic book. But yeah, he's the second one. The third one is Dr. Manhattan, who's like a guy who's also a god, and he just basically knew he was going to hell from the beginning, so he didn't really care that much, which makes sense. And the third one, or the fourth one, was her herself, like Silk Spectre or Laurie Blake or
She was hiding behind them.
Yeah, and she like threw a brick in the air and sent God to hell. And I think like I even like I read like an article about this as well, because I was like, what is going on here? It's an interesting joke. And the article was saying that it's Laurie expressing how that she used to be useless, but now she isn't. And like she used to be defined by the relationships that she had with these 3 people, or like these important people or whatever. But now she's like kind of her own person. And the punchline is that like she like shows up and just like does whatever she wants now and like throws the brick and like is the one in charge. And I thought that was interesting. It didn't quite like land though in the episode when I was watching. I'm like, what's the point here? Like I don't really get the joke, but I got it afterwards, I guess. But
I remember thinking she's talking about them and she misses John, and that's fascinating because she didn't miss John at the end of the comic book, so that was different. But true, and I definitely picked up that she thought she was more competent now, which was pretty evident. So, but the rest of it, I don't know. Go ahead.
I just realized that also there's a second punchline to that joke, which is that she walks outside and then the car gets dropped from the sky, like the brick that was being thrown in the story.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like a hint that like either True or Will was like watching and hearing those recordings and then dropped the car to like be the punchline of that joke again, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, because she has a recording of it later. But also, in the moment, I was like, oh, Dr. Manhattan did it because he's listening.
True. Yeah, that is how it feels. But no, he would never.
Which is weird because I could definitely see comic book Dr. Manhattan like doing that and being all ominous like that. But this Dr. Manhattan, no, he's just a softie. This one.
That's right.
True. What about?
I have 2 more notes on Laurie. Okay, number 1. Oh, and I read that one already. The only one left is she pretends to care about this guy's civil rights. He's like, are they being violated right now? And she's like, I don't care. It was very funny.
True, and then she didn't care. That
Yep.
was funny.
Yep.
And she was making fun of the red guy and the other girl.
True.
Oh, also the trapdoor scene was funny where it didn't work initially.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, what the fuck are you doing? That was great. I liked that a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, she was really cool. We liked her demeanor and personality.
So who are these 2 characters that you love so much? And one of them is a woman.
Well, no, I only like one of them, but I was trying to bait you into saying the one that I really liked was the hillbilly guy. But obviously the best character in the show is the daughter, EliteAri. I love this Vietnamese lady.
Lady True or Lady True's mother-daughter person?
Lady True, not Lady True's mother-daughter.
True, I liked her too. I'm surprised you liked her that much, but that's cool. Okay.
She was great. She shows up and she sweared good, so that was good in her favor, EliteAri. She was like doing exposition, but it was really cool. She was Ozymandias, come again, EliteAri. Of course I loved it. And she was a girl this time. Oh my goodness, EliteAri. But we didn't let her win in the end.
That's right. Yeah, she has a hole in her hand and gets killed.
This frickin' Ozymandias, this prick. And then he lost in the end anyway.
Just men putting women down, am I right? Terrible.
It's true. These old men, they won't give it up. It's also funny that they wrote in that he was a virgin. Never do such a thing, just like Alexander the Great. But he have semen files or whatever.
Man, and then I love the scene where she like goes and visits him and is like, I'm number. She says the number or whatever. It's like hello or whatever. I thought that was very cute.
Specimen sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
True, it was good.
Yep.
Also, this girl was and this isn't the EliteAri. I need you to understand that this is not the reason I like her, right?
Okay.
But my goodness, was she hot in this show, EliteAri? I didn't know what it was, the weird haircut or something, and the way she was talking. I was like, oh my goodness. And this might maybe this show is a very sexy show, EliteAri, because also old lady Laurie was also like, this lady is sexy. What's she doing over here? And I don't think I thought that much about Angela. So EliteAri, I think you've just revealed my cards. It's always the same with me.
That's very funny.
What other girls were there?
I mean, there weren't many, which is why I was so confused as to who were you thinking about.
Oh, it was very interesting. I thought that the daughter was like 23 years old, but then they implied that she was like 10.
Well, that's it. I also thought that, and then I looked up how old the actor is, and apparently the actor was like 13 or something. So apparently it is just like a crazy, like, it just looked weird.
I had this tangent one time remember my last, you don't, but in my Last of Us marketing video, the girl that plays Yara, I was like, I think there's an aside in that video of like the age on her thingy must be wrong because it says that she was like 13 when they were filming this. But like Yara, the character in The Last of Us, which you probably don't even remember, is like definitely like, I thought she was supposed to be like 18, 19. I thought the actress was like 25. But this is crazy. So maybe, I don't know, it's a little weird, EliteAri, but true. I also thought that.
Well, I think...
true, we love...
Well, the thing I was going to say is that I think all the like child actors in this are pretty good. Like, there's no like really bad performance, I guess. Like, even the little young kids in the family.
The boy.
I think the boy was pretty good, yeah. Especially and Beyond or whatever her name was, she was good. Like, it was a very good performance. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a competent old lady actress, but apparently it was a young girl.
Yep. I mean, I could be wrong. I didn't look that much into it, but I'm pretty sure she was young. But I guess someone in the comments let us know if I'm wrong about this.
I believe it. The show wouldn't have had the balls to try and pull this off if it wasn't true, EliteAri. I don't believe it. But true. Now, we are about to go see Spider-Man, and Tom Holland is 45, and he's going to be playing an 18-year-old. So, you never know with these things.
Yep.
Now... But true. What else is great about that girl, EliteAri? She had a bunch of interesting lines. She kind of was an exposition machine, but I liked her every time she was doing it. It's true, the scenes with Adrian were great. And then he said daughter at the end of the bodies thing, EliteAri. Could you believe it? But did he kind of, and he didn't really mean it, EliteAri. You can't trust him. Yep. Also, the statue was him the whole time. That's crazy.
God, that was a thing where... It was weird, because the whole time, when I watched it the first time, obviously, you know, I figured it out by the end that he was in the statue. But this second time through, I was like, man. Oh, geez, I almost died. Holy. I was thinking, man.
Rest in peace, EliteAri.
where is he? And I was actually trying to theorize because I didn't remember that he was on Europa. I remember thinking like he was in some pocket dimension, or like he was in like some essentially, there's a show. This is, believe it or not, this is not the weirdest show I've seen. The weirdest show I've ever seen is Legion, which is another superhero show. And in that show, one of the characters is like in a psychic dimension where they get out of there by like being inside this like diving gear. And because when Ozymandias started putting on this like weird diving gear, and it turns out he needed to go to space or whatever, I was like, oh yeah, he like comes out of this like astral dimension or something in this diving gear. So I was messing all this up in my mind, and I was like, I truly had no idea where it was coming from. And then when they showed the statue for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, he's like in the statue. So there must be like another dimension like inside that golden statue, and he like breaks out of there. So I was like lost basically. But it was really cool when he was in that statue. My goodness, the whole time he was right in front of our faces. Kyle, can you believe it?
True, and this is actually something we haven't brought up yet, but this show has like the Last of Us thing of always opening with like something that seems unrelated. It doesn't always do it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them was her buying that couple's house or whatever, and that's when he landed, and that was him.
Yeah, that is true. I love that scene. Well, actually, just to say, I love that opening of that episode where it is just the music, and there's like a little short story of this family who's living on this farm. They're trying to sell eggs. No one's buying their eggs because they're in the modern times where people don't just go and buy eggs off the street. They have grocery stores for this stuff. And I'm like a little depressed for them. And then she walks and she drops the eggs. And I'm like, oh my God, the husband's going to be so mad. But no, the husband picks up the egg and smiles at her.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they're having this fit. They're doing a crossword. Oh, no, they're doing not a crossword. They're doing a puzzle like on the desk, and they go to bed. And then I'm like, oh, this is so cute. So I liked all that stuff a lot. And then also just throughout the scene, there's like the subtle, like, I don't know how subtle it is. I think it's pretty subtle, where she, like the woman in that relationship obviously doesn't really care that much about the having this legacy, but the man like keeps pushing it, and it's like, man, he was the one in this relationship who cared about having the children. I thought that was very cool, where it's like he's rushing to like sign this contract, whereas she is more hesitant about it. Despite it being like her who is not having the child, right? I thought this was very, yeah, it was interesting. You know, small character stuff in a little scene. So yeah,
and that was her introduction to EliteAri, and you know,
it was.
She was like mad at the mother daughter for knocking on the door too early too. That was funny.
True. Yep.
But yes. There were other cold opens like that too, right? I'm not just making it up that it did it a bunch of times. I can't remember.
I'm sure it did. Like, well, yeah. There's like obviously the first episode with Will Younger. There's the scene with the episode we just talked about. There's the scene with Looking Glass inside the mirrors and stuff about in his episode.
Oh yeah.
There's obviously the Dr. Manhattan one that's the whole episode. It's not really. I don't know. I'm sure. Oh, there's probably
towards the end they didn't do it as much.
Was the Laurie one? Did that open with them at the bank or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. I'm sure it happened a bunch.
I feel like The Last of Us only did it the first few episodes too, but also both HBO properties are EliteAri. So you know, The Last of Us was stealing the Watchmen thunder, the mojo.
Well, this is a Better Call Saul thing as well, but this is that's a newer show, I think. So,
Better Call Saul sucks, and
True.
Nobody likes that show.
It's the greatest show ever made.
Oh. Should have got mad earlier. He would have made for a funnier joke. But true EliteAri. And I guess the last character was Looking Glass, who got a whole episode of EliteAri. Can I just say, EliteAri, I'm on my soapbox, and this doesn't reflect on this episode as much as it's going to sound like, all right?
All right.
I hate in shows when we do the side character episode. I hate, I could tell EliteAri because I'm looking at the thumbnails for all these episodes, of course, and I think I read the description, but I didn't even redo it every time, EliteAri. Only when I started episode 1 did I read the descriptions. Now, these shows are smarter than you, EliteAri. They know not to spoil stuff in the thing, and Dr. Manhattan isn't in any of the thumbnails, so I didn't know when he was coming, so calm down, everybody. But I saw it was that guy, and the description was, like, about him, and I was like, oh, I hate it when shows do this, and it always makes me dread those episodes, and now we got there, and the episode was great, so there's no problems there, EliteAri. But even then, there was one of them that was like, this is the Angela backstory episode, was basically the description. I was like, oh, I hate flashbacks. Get me out of here. True. Now, again, it was a good part. So I'm lying. But I remember Industry did this a lot, where it would be like, this is the side character episode. And it's like the most famous, well, not the most famous, but the highest rated episode from that whole show is one of those ones. And that really pissed me off because I didn't like that episode at all.
Yep.
And I feel, you know what doesn't do this? The Great Succession. It never did that. But like, I don't know. I like it when there's like it's like the side plot of the episode is dealing with this guy. But also I like this episode.
I do agree.
It makes me not happy.
I don't know if it's for the same reason as you though, but for me it's like, man, we had like an interesting narrative, and now we're taking a detour with this guy that I don't care about. But it wasn't that; it was like part of it. So
no, again, the episode was fine, and it was good that they did it probably. But when I can see it and I see it's coming, and I'm like, And another thing I've noticed is it always involves fleshing out a character. Always involves making them like pathetic, and trying to make them more likable that way. And usually that doesn't work. Again, in that industry example, it really didn't make me. It annoyed me a lot. But in this one, it was kind of fine, even if it did make him pathetic.
This reminded me.
I don't know. He's very scared.
I read another thing in the interview, which is that they initially planned for 10 episodes, and then they decided that they didn't need the 10th one, so they just made 9. So that was
Wow. Yep. That's brave. We like that.
Yep. No side character episodes.
And also, it was less of an episode for me to watch. You know, you got to add things to your media checklist, Leary. Elsewise, what's the point of life? Anyway, this guy is running AA meetings for squids. He was there, EliteAri, in Jersey when it happened. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it was cool. I like that.
And a girl stole his clothes.
Yeah, that was also very cool.
This is also a big comic book reference because they were from the Top Knot gang, EliteAri.
What is that?
Which was like a big thing in the comic book. But not in the movie. They beat the old knight out of death at some point, and they're arguing with a news vendor at a different point, and then they all get blown up. So,
oh my goodness,
true. We love references.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one. I never would have.
But true, EliteAri. Are those other characters? Do you have more to say
I have
about
some stuff on the,
he looks like Rorschach the most.
He has the coolest mask. It is. I like it. You know, Laurie made fun of it. I like the reflective mask. It's a cool idea. He has a little pod thing that is also somewhat cool. I have a few things on him and his episode. I think mostly my favorite thing about the episode was the use of music, like the playing of the Careless Whisper motif, I guess, throughout the episode. Where like in the opening scene when he's in the mirror, what do you call it? The House of Mirrors or whatever you call it. The girl is like there and she's about to she's going on her knees and the Careless Whisper music starts playing and it's like, oh my goodness, look at this, something crazy is about to happen with him, he's gonna live a happy life, whatever. It doesn't happen. And then later on he's having this conversation with his ex-wife and the same music starts kicking in and it's like, oh, he's having this connection with someone but he's gonna break it off.
I do remember this now.
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode it's like he learns the truth, he sees the recording from Adrian, and then he tries to go back to his day job after learning the truth. And he's just out of it. And the same music starts playing, and it's like his whole life is like this. It is the perfect metaphor of like his whole life was a house of mirrors. It is all like an illusion that was built up through Adrian. And now his life just has no meaning now. It was just so well executed.
And then it looked like they killed him at the end.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But even before that, there was the very cute detail of he puts the thing outside, he's going to throw it away, but then he goes back and gets it because it's like the only comfort he knows. Like his entire world is upside down, he has nothing else, he's just going to go get the thing that like made him comfortable at least. Like even though he knows there is no more danger, he probably still would have went and lived in the bunker because it's like his comfort place. All of this was, I mean, he's great, I liked him. And it was very cool how he was the one who went with Adrian at the end and saw like the reality of like where all this trauma that he had came from. Like he was there with Laurie and Adrian. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah.
And then he helped arrest him and he hit him with that wrench.
He did.
Fucking bastard. That's not good, EliteAri.
Yep.
And he had a good voice. He had the best of the southern accents.
Oh, that was also a thing because when I was watching, I was like, is this guy like, does he actually talk like this or is this like an acting thing? And this is an acting thing. He just does not talk like this whatsoever when he's in an interview. He is a completely different person in interviews.
Sacred anymore.
Yep, he's just a really good actor.
I feel like he had a name or something that I recognize. So he must have been a world famous, renowned actor, EliteAri.
Probably.
But I don't remember.
What else in this episode? We go to the pet cloning place and all the employees are like also cloned and that was very funny.
And they were killing them.
Oh, yeah, they incinerated a dog. Oh, my goodness. People were just so mad.
They probably didn't incinerate EliteAri. It was probably nice.
I don't know. I looked at it. It's either they ground it up into like fine particles or they incinerated it into fine particles.
They Dr. Manhattaned it. It was very ethical.
You know, the Dr. Manhattan kills also look pretty gruesome and like, I don't know. I mean, they would be quick. But true.
But they used Lady True's technology to do it helplessly and harmlessly.
True. What do you think of the, in this episode, what do you think of the reveal video from Adrian where he's like talking to the camera, talking to Robert Redford or whatever?
Every video I watched that hated this show thought this was the worst piece of writing they've ever seen.
I love
Great Adrian would never have done that, and I just didn't think about it one little bit.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was so cool where it's like, you're getting the conspiracy and he's speaking to the camera, and it was was a cool reveal of a conspiracy. I don't know.
He made that guy president, which is something he did talk about, I'm pretty sure, in that comic book.
And I like how he called him Robert. Like, he'd refer to him as, like, first name basis, where it's like, this guy's beneath him or whatever, like an equal to him. Well, not really equal, but yeah, beneath him, I guess. It was sick.
It was interesting that they didn't do any Trump stuff, because it is 2019, and I was like, and we're being very political. But they were just sticking, because Robert Redford is supposed to be a Ronald Reagan parody because he's like an actor and everything, and it's like this is the epitome of terrible American politics. A Republican president that used to be an actor, like we couldn't get any lower than or any more ridiculous. And obviously, Donald Trump is a reality TV star. EliteAri, did you know that?
I have heard that, but I didn't know that about him beforehand.
You never seen The Apprentice before? The Celebrity Apprentice?
Nope.
My mum used to watch that show all the time.
Oh wow.
Now. But true.
But yeah, true. That is true. Show. No Trump in this. It is. I mean, it's like, it's a little. That's not that surprising. It's also like the Robert Redford guy is like, he is the progressive guy in this story. He's the one who we're giving whatever the stand-in for reparations or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that was a thing. Because again, I think I said this last time, but the comic book like makes it explicit that like the comedian is like a right-wing guy and Ozymandias is like a left-wing guy. So if Ozymandias is choosing a guy to be president. You choose a more left-wing guy.
Now, did you know, actually you definitely didn't know this, but I read this also in that interview, the great interview I read, all these behind-the-scenes things. They did try and get Robert Redford to be in this, but he didn't reply to their letter that they sent him, so, yep.
True. Now, Robert Redford is the Winter Soldier guy,
He is, yeah, that's the only thing I've ever seen him in, yeah.
Yeah, he died recently, I think, and I remember being like, whoa.
He really didn't seem that old, oh my god.
Yeah, he was like 80 or something. He's old as fuck.
Oh my god, that's older than George R.R. Martin. Jesus.
Why would you bring that up, EliteAri?
I
trying to depress
because I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's fat and he's old. So
I said he was young. I was saying he's older than George R.R. Martin. So
he's dead.
My goodness.
Whatever happened to Jon Snow, we'll never know.
Yep.
EliteAri, any other characters?
Let me see. What have I got? I think we've pretty much. I mean, there's the Judd and wife stuff. I don't think there's too much to say about them, really.
No, they're just in the beginning. They seemed like very nice people, and they were actually evil.
Yep. I'd say that's probably all the characters.
True. I think so. I can't remember any that we're dying to leave out.
Yep.
I'm choking, EliteAri. So I got world building, symbols, and politicals. What do you think, EliteAri? Which one?
I mean, we can talk about
we
can talk about politics stuff. We haven't done that yet.
Well, have we? Is there really much to say? It's a political show, EliteAri. It's a woke show.
I feel like it is weird where it's like it probably is woke. I don't think there's anything like in my mind that's very, I don't know. Like when I think of woke stuff in media, I always just think of that Endgame scene where all the women are like fighting or whatever. That's the peak work right there. There's no like, there obviously it covers like black struggles and stuff in this. This is the core like part
philosophically, it's a lot more woke than that because that is literally just like representation pandering, right?
What is? Oh, in the Marvel thing.
The Avengers moment.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. It's obviously a work show. Yeah, I would agree, but it doesn't feel like it's too weird to me. Where it's like it doesn't. I'm sure it's like got prescriptions or whatever, but it doesn't. That's not really what I take from the show too much.
I think probably the first thing is it is the representation stuff of like the black lady being the main character, but also it'd be like the white the parodying of the conservative guys being the bad guys is probably the other thing.
Yeah, true.
Some heat to EliteAri, especially it's hard to be a white man in America. Like that's like that's like a Steven Crowder quote or something. He says that every morning on his show or something, and he's the super evil bad guy saying it all. Who cares? I do have some actual notes about this, though. Yeah. I have opening on the Black Wall Street stuff, which that's an upsetting moment in history, EliteAri. Did you know that was real?
Is this the Tulsa race massacre thing or whatever? Tulsa something?
Yes,
Tulsa
at
massacre?
The very beginning.
Yeah, I didn't know it was real until something. I learned it somehow in this viewing. I don't know if it was like a blind wave comment or I have no idea, but I did learn about it.
It's interesting because I think every video I watched about it, because I knew about this and I didn't know. Well, actually, I think I did know that the show opened with it, but I had forgotten until it was happening. But I did know about the Black Wall Street thing. But in every video that I watched, they were like, did you know this was real? Like nobody's ever heard of this. So I think this show might have literally repopularized this thing being known in history, and I just got it through osmosis.
Wow.
Oh, this is definitely a line all of the critical drinker video made fun of a lot, which is the line from episode 1 where she's like, I got a nose for white supremacy and he smells like bleach or whatever, and then he would have a 50 laugh tracks about how this was like the worst line in TV history, literally.
Well, comedy is very, some comedy is good, some comedy is bad. I don't know. I don't hate that line, but
it wasn't even a joke. But also, this was definitely a line I knew. I don't know if I knew it was from the show, but I feel like I've clicked on this is the worst line in TV history, and either it's a Cowboy Bebop live action line or it's this line. So that was I recognized in the moment.
What's bad? I don't really get it. Well, for me, it's like
it is kind of corny. It's like
a little bit, but it's not like worst line ever kind of corny.
Well, no, neither is the Cowboy Bebop testicles one, but
well, I can understand that one. Yeah, but I can understand if you see that one out of context. That is kind of crazy.
Well, I think it's also white supremacy. The being part of the line is like, maybe, what a woke show.
I don't know. I can't
telling us that Whitey is the baddie, EliteAri.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a joke written down, EliteAri. A joke of my own joke, not one from the show.
Oh, even better. Go ahead.
There was a line that said, "Masks save lives," and I said, "This is a liberal show."
Ah, that's funny.
From COVID,
yes, I remember. Yes, I do remember. But I assume this was written
before COVID.
Yeah, way before COVID.
It also aired before COVID,
that's right.
EliteAri.
But I watched it after COVID. Actually, I didn't even know if I watched it after COVID.
Me too, EliteAri. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have the representation point where she said, she looks like me, that's why I chose this. And I said that was cute.
True.
Oh, there was a great joke about Dr. Manhattan doing blackface now. I think Adrian said it. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, this could be like risky. I feel like you could get blowback from the people, like from the woke audience for this one. But yeah, as they've addressed it, EliteAri, so now we can all chuckle together.
It was very funny.
Oh, there's a thing in the first episode where the racist guy was listening to rap music, which is like a funny trope that people always say about. Like Nick Fuentes' favorite musical artist is Kanye West or whatever. Even before he was a racist. Before Kanye was a racist.
Oh my
God.
But
I'm assuming before Nick was a racist too. And Rorschach being the racist symbol, and that's like a whole discussion. We already talked about all this stuff, EliteAri. So I don't know. I haven't really thought about the political philosophy of the show too much. Like it's black sails or something. So I don't really have too much more to say about this. And I know you don't.
Yep. Well, mine is more like
true.
I don't think much about the political philosophy of the show, but like I think I don't know. There's obviously something at the end when it comes to characters, and especially like black characters in this world. And then like the importance of like there's the line at the end, the big payoff about like you can't heal under a mask because wounds need air or whatever.
True.
And that probably has something to do with kind of choosing to blend in with white society versus like choosing to be who you truly are. And how Hooded Justice was kind of like trying to pretend to be white, whereas Angela kind of like she instead of putting the white face on as Hooded Justice, like she puts the black kind of thing.
The black paint
and it's like
on.
she's trying to be a more extreme version of who she actually is, whereas he was trying to be someone else entirely, and both of those are wrong. And it's like in reality, you should just be yourself. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway in terms of like it's not politics, but like in terms of like, I don't know, black kind of the race kind of stuff in the show is probably that to like kind of be your. Because
there was another line about like masks being cruel or something. I don't remember what the context was or who said that, but I do remember that line.
Adrian said that about the sheriff guy. He's like,
yes.
Why did you make me wear a mask? Like, because masks make people cruel.
Oh, that was I don't know if this is another did you know that you already know, EliteAri, so I'm going to look like a big loser for bringing this up. But the guy at the very beginning, like the black guy in the movie or whatever that he's always watching as a kid, apparently that is like the inspiration for Lone Ranger, which is like a popular TV series or movie series or something. But that guy is white, but like even the creator of that like was originally influenced by a black guy, but then made the character that like white so it could be more appealing.
Who is white? The black guy in this show is white.
Lone Ranger is white. The character.
So they took the actual black guy and made him a movie or whatever, and made him white in that movie or TV show.
Yes, well, he was. It's not like the exact guy, but he was like influenced by it, and the author said this like years later.
Okay.
It was like, which is what Hooded Justice does, right? So it's like the parallel.
Oh yeah, true.
Wow. And something else about hoods or something.
Hoods.
Oh, there's also, I think there's kind of a political statement of like, we are like correcting for the mistakes of the comic book by like arresting Ozymandias at the end. So like, being held accountable is definitely probably part of the thematic message or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
But again, I haven't thought too much about that. So,
yep.
True and true. World building as a follow up. Oh, this first one is just wrong. I said I guess Rorschach's journal just wasn't published, but like the FBI had the copy of it, so it probably was, and it just didn't have too much of an impact, I guess, because obviously that's like the big ending of the movie and the comic book is like, oh my god, is Rorschach's journal going to get published and everybody's going to know he did it? But it doesn't seem to have made much of a thing. And also we have the ambiguous ending here, which is kind of similar, which is, can Angela walk on the water now? Is she Dr. Manhattan now, leader?
Yeah. True.
Well, was she?
Well, I don't know if we're going to talk about it now. I guess,
I don't really have anything to say about it. It's ambiguous, so I don't have to think about it.
Well, okay, so this ties into, firstly, it is ambiguous, and it is a thing where it's like, I don't see a strong reason or a strong convincing argument either way. To me, there's like only two the two most obvious readings are like, one, she didn't get the powers, and it's like a joke from Dr. Manhattan or something like that, where it's like a cute thing where she'll like fall in the water and she'll kind of reflect on or like remember him or whatever and be like, oh, that's like a cute relationship thing. Or the other possibility is that she has the powers, and then it ties into a more deeper kind of analysis of Dr. Manhattan, about how the reason Dr. Manhattan hasn't done anything good, quote unquote, or whatever, hasn't done enough good, is that the second he got his powers, his destiny was set in stone, and the destiny was defined by who he was before he got the powers. And it's like, it's a thing, I guess spoilers for anyone listening, that Attack on Titan does, especially the anime, that they changed some dialogue there, where it is like this man who is destined, it's like a man who is destined or gets power that he can like adjust the future or whatever, but in reality he can't adjust the future at all, and all of his actions that he takes in the future are just defined on like what he would have done. And it's like, because he is like a dumb person or a bad person, in the case of Attack on Titan, that's what they say at least, it's like, that's the reason that like things turned out so badly. If a better person had achieved this power or had it, then they could have done more with it, which is like what happens at the end here, where there's a great line that I quote a bunch. Like, even this is the one thing I remember the most about the show. When Will is talking to Angela and he says like, considering what he could do, he could have done more. And it's like, it just rings true.
This is also what the Lady True thinks too, and that's like her motivation.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, it's like, I don't quite understand. Like, if I understood why this line resonated me with so much, I would have definitely made a video about it. Or maybe I will make a video about it. But I think it ties into the idea of like Dr. Manhattan just not being able to do more because of just who he was. And his personality freezing at that moment of his like, his turning. And now that Angela is like informed by all these events, maybe she can have the powers, and maybe she can do a better thing in the future because she's been informed by it. Even if she'll become the same Dr. Manhattan who is detached and emotionless, she might, because of her experiences and everything she's learned, she might have a better outcome than he did. Might do a little bit more than he did. I don't know.
Well, I think the point is supposed to be, at least originally, that he like doesn't do much because he's never actually in the moment. He's just pretending to be in the moment for like the people around him. And it's like, why would you like go back and change a bunch of things or something? It's like, it's to do with omnipotence or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know.
But like, I don't know, does he just give Angela his powers, or I guess or could he selectively give her to just be able to blow stuff up and like change particles and not have the future sight stuff?
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. Also, in the comic, the last thing we ever see of Dr. Manhattan is him walking on the water. So it's like this is the last thing we see in the show too. Though they cut that from the movie, EliteAri. Can you believe that?
I can believe that, yeah.
Shitty ass movie.
That's right.
But true, and Rorschach's journal didn't get published or something.
Yep.
Oh, they talk about 11/12 like it's 9/11, EliteAri.
11/2.
Which is when 11. What did I say?
11/12, because that'd be 9. No, not 9/11. 11. I don't know. True.
That would be a different date, but true. It's the 2nd of November is when it happened. EliteAri, upsetting. And also, Steven Spielberg made Schindler's List, but it was about
Yeah.
11, 12, 11, 2.
I didn't get it because I was like, I haven't seen Schindler's List, but when they said the red whatever, there's a
The
red
red
thing. I was like,
coat.
that's like Attack on Titan, and when Attack on Titan did that, everyone said that was Schindler's List, so I pieced it all together. Okay,
Yeah.
it was referencing Schindler's List somehow.
Did you know Schindler's List is a Holocaust movie, EliteAri?
I think so. I don't know much. I think that's the only thing I know about it. I know that Qui-Gon is in it. I think Liam Neeson. That's the only thing I know about it.
Oh yeah, I think he's the main Nazi guy. What a bad guy, EliteAri.
True.
But true, there's a little girl in a red thingy, and I think you see her body, and she's still got the red thingy on, so you could tell it's her. Upsetting.
Wow, terrible.
It's like a 3-hour movie or something. I don't know what the plot is. But true. And Squid. Oh, but about Squid, true. And they called it Pale Horse because that was the band performing at Madison Square Garden, and that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of our side characters were outside Madison Square Garden when it blew up. And true, that was a good scene in the
terrible.
comic book, also, it rains squid to keep up the illusion.
Yes. I do like the we haven't said this explicitly. I do like the seeing the ramifications of Adrian on the everyday person through Looking Glass. I think they do a really good job of it, of showing how sad it is that, like, I don't know, this man is like being scammed into buying like safety equipment or like an alarm system, which obviously is not going to do anything, from this like extra dimensional protection company. And it's like, look what he is, what Adrian did to this person. It's just one of like millions of examples.
He didn't do nothing.
True, I guess.
He would be a conspiracy theorist even if there wasn't squids.
Maybe. Well, I mean, now he should be, because there was a conspiracy and it was proven true, and oh my goodness, how could you believe anything ever again?
Oh, true. Now he doesn't have to be scared, though, Leary. He's not scared anymore.
It is true.
Now, he arrested that guy. He brought justice.
He hit him with a wrench.
That's true. And the music cut out when he did it.
Yep.
Those were all my world-building notes, Leary. Last, before I list off all my favorite references, we've got symbols, and I have written down eggs and tunnels.
Eggs, I get. I mean, I get that's like what's a tunnel thing? I don't remember the tunnel thing.
Oh, they're always talking about how they're in the tunnel and they're nearly at the outs of the tunnel.
Okay.
I'm sure there's big thematic revelations for both of these, EliteAri, but I finished the show today, so what do you expect from me?
I mean, the egg thing is like, there has to be something. Oh, obviously it's the Manhattan powers in the egg, but like, what does that mean? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. And there were eggs in that
also in the
episode.
very first episode, she's doing her baking design and she's got eggs and she's like separating them and she makes the Watchmen face.
I don't remember that, but that was so long ago. My God.
And it was something about how you have to split them up and you don't want to get any of the yolk and the white. And I didn't know if that was like a race thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Eggs.
Oh, so now you remember it. Yeah. You fucking
idiot. Do you remember when the oldest kid was making Dr. Manhattan's like castle or whatever in the magnets? Do you remember that?
True, and it was like floating.
Yeah. What was happening? I wonder how he made that, or what that implies. I don't know.
Because he's a smart kid, and you got all those toys because of the great Vite Industries or whatever it's called.
Yep. True Industries or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it's called nowadays.
She bought his company. It's crazy. My God.
She did.
Yep.
And true, they brought up that his family was rich and he got rid of it or something, which was part of his like existential monologue in the comic book.
Yep.
True.
Lady True.
Oh, now that's pretty smart, EliteAri. Remember there was an elephant in that room, EliteAri, but don't worry, somebody already explained it to me.
What's the explanation? I don't know the explanation for this elephant.
Is that Lady True is a real Vietnamese lady or something, and she used to ride around on an elephant. So
oh my
that was
God.
Like a reference.
Okay, interesting. Cool.
And also it was the elephant in the room because they didn't talk about Dr. Manhattan afterwards.
That is true. Oh, wait a minute. They talked about the elephant in the interview. Actually, I don't remember if it was who talked about it. They said something. What'd they say about it?
Elephants don't lose memories or something was another thing.
Yeah, the thing they said is that they didn't give like an answer as to what it was, but he said that like, oh yeah, a lot of theories out there, they've got like a true theory or whatever. And then he said, oh, we were also trying to hint at like, apparently in the original comic book, there were a lot of references to that thing, like about how elephants never forget and the elephant in the room and stuff like that. It was like some reference to the comic book. I don't know.
I don't remember anything about either of those in my great comic book, EliteAri.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'm misremembering. Or maybe he's just bad.
It's been a month, EliteAri. I've forgotten everything.
Yep, true. Now we do the full circle.
Oh my God.
I read the comic book and we talk about it again. Oh my God.
True, but you'd never do that, EliteAri.
I would never do that, no.
EliteAri hates comic books for everybody listening. Oh, Okay, Lear, I got a bunch of references to the comic book that there was lots of them, and it was very cute. And for like the first 4 episodes, I was like, this is like the only reason this is called Watchmen is so we can do a bunch of these references. But then obviously Dr. Manhattan showed up and it became more of a thingy.
Yeah.
Well, the first one is in all bold. They showed the squid, which was cool to see, EliteAri.
It was big.
It was very big. Yes, it's a ginormous. Oh, they even had the drawing of it from the one panel in the comic book that's like chapters beforehand, before you know what's going on. And it's like, what the fuck is that squid? That was cool. That was like in front of Veidt when he was doing his monologue, I think. Anyway, cool. It was exactly like the comic book.
I love
drawing. There's a newspaper vendor, which is a reference to the newspaper vendor in the comic book. He even has the same hat, but this guy's a black guy. And they do still have the 2 same newspapers, the Nova Express and the New Frontiersman. So great references there, EliteAri.
Cool.
Keen is the guy that outlawed superheroes, and his son is now the evil guy. And that evil original Keen shows up at the end.
Keen Senior or something, yeah.
That's what they said, yeah. And Laurie was like, I didn't know he was a racist.
Yep.
Reenacting John's transformation, true. Ozymandias is doing this.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, they do like a whole play for it. Yeah, that was awesome. I like that.
That was great. And they even killed that one Mr. Phillips to do it. That was crazy.
Crazy.
Also Crookshanks is the name of Hermione's cat.
Oh, that's what okay, that makes sense. Because the whole time I'm like, I feel like I've heard this name before. It must be some historical thing, but no, I guess it's Harry Potter.
Yeah, it must be some British name thingy. I don't know. Because they were British and they owned a manor or something. We learned that.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and I think this was different in the movie, so I wrote this down to clarify it for you. But he did leave the watch he made. He like his first girlfriend's watch broke, and he could like remake it because his father was a watchmaker, and he was like going to give it to her as a gift, and he realized that he didn't have it on her, and then that's why he originally ran back into the thingy.
Wait,
I don't think that was the case. No, I feel like it was like I left my wallet in there, or he might even say my watch in there or something. It was something different.
Yeah. Okay.
And also he reiterates the nothing ever ends thing, which is good because there's like a bunch of references to the fact that Ozymandias is still mad that Dr. Manhattan didn't say he was right at the end, and that was like the cool moment in the comic. Clarification that Ozymandias killed 3 million. True, we already talked about that. Ozymandias achieved his goal of being enshrined in gold. True, when he's thinking about Ramesses II or whatever, he's like, look at these great golden statues. And then he was in gold. And this is before I even realized that was literally him, EliteAri. This was just in episode 3 when I wrote this down. But my goodness, he made it.
And Laurie called him ugly or something. She's like,
he said, why do you make him so old? This is lame. And it's like, true. The Black Freighter Motel, that's like from the pirate story I keep telling you about, EliteAri, but the hotel or something where Laurie was staying in was called that. So what a great reference.
Okay.
I knew it was a Dr. Manhattan toy. True, the sex toy, EliteAri I'm talking about there.
Yep.
And it had like her Silk Spectre outfit on and in the picture that was on it or something. The owl in the cage, of course, EliteAri, because the owl guy's in prison currently.
Yep. I got that one.
Oh, and true. And they were the glass guy was eating beans like Rorschach.
Is that a thing? I don't remember this.
Remember, Rorschach was eating beans even in your movie, EliteAri.
He just beat up a bunch of people in that movie, and then the door closed.
No, he was eating them without cooking them. I don't know if this guy cooked them, but true.
Oh yeah, he did. He was in the Night Owl's house. That's right. Yeah, thanks
for catching up, EliteAri.
Yep.
Oh yeah, nostalgia is a big thing in this, but in this it's pills, whereas it's just like Ozymandias' perfume brand or whatever in the comic book. But that was a cute reference. And this is a big detail in the chapter where Laurie and Dr. Manhattan are on Mars, and it's a really cool little piece of imagery of like the past and the future, and it was well executed in the comic. But here it's pills, so that's kind of crazy. The Top Knot gang was indeed there, and they did strip our boy naked and leave him there, that lady, but she got what she deserved, EliteAri.
The Top Knot gang stripping a lady naked. I don't remember this.
We talked the Top Knot gang. I told you they beat the owl guy to death, and they were a gang in the. I said this like 20 minutes ago.
The Top Knot gang beat a guy to death.
Owl guy to death.
Oh, owl guy. Okay. Yes. Okay, wonderful.
True, and they were in this. The Superman comic was in it, which is in the old owl guy in his novel that you get to read at the end of a few chapters was talking about how he was on his police beat. Which is interesting. They did kind of merge him and Hooded Justice's backstories here. Because he was a cop, and he said, these cops aren't doing enough, so I've got to, at night, go and be a superhero. And he was inspired by the great Hooded Justice. But true, he was also inspired because he saw he saw a kid reading the Superman comic, and he said, what's that comic about? And he explained it to him, and he said, man, that's a good idea.
Oh, interesting.
And also, it canonizes Superman.
I like I did like what they did here, where it's like, Will sees himself as Superman, or like connects him because he had the same upbringing with his parents, like sending him off as they died.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
And his parents died back there and everything. True.
Yeah.
That makes the other girl Supergirl.
I suppose, yeah.
But that's not really Supergirl's backstory later, but anyway. Also, Dr. Manhattan is supposed to be like Superman or something. That's what everybody says.
He's God,
and his fake name... Huh?
He's God.
True. And his fake name was Kal in this, which is Superman's name.
That's, yeah, true. Good point. Wow.
Kal-El is actually Superman's name, EliteAri.
Yep.
And what's Supergirl's name? Supergirl's my favorite. It's something L too. But anyway, it's probably cooler. She's lying about her memories like Rorschach. True.
What?
So Angela, when she's like asked what this looks like or something by the daughter mother, she lies.
Yeah,
she says it looks like something, and that's what Rorschach did.
I understand. Okay, yes. Yep. Yep.
When Dr. Manhattan meets her, he does the beer exchange, which is a big thing in the comic book. I don't remember if that was in the movie, but Janie Slater originally offered him a beer, and he's like recalling it. He's like, it was cold in my hand, and our fingers touched, and oh my goodness, that was the beginning of their love too. It's like, oh my god. Janie Slater, I don't think was mentioned at all.
Nope. Just implied.
So that's crazy. Actually, no, she was. At one point, when Dr. Manhattan, before he dies, he's like in a bunch of different places at once, and he does yell Janie or something at some point.
Yeah.
So it was true. She was mentioned. That's kind of crazy. Ozymandias wants to know. True, they were reiterating that he really wanted to know whether or not what he did was true. He caught the bullet. True, he did that again. That was awesome. Catching the bullet in that comic book, I've been thinking about that. It's like an underrated thing. It's like the coolest when like he's just done the worst thing. You think he's killed Dr. Manhattan, and then Laurie shoots him. You're like, oh my god, Laurie is doing something right now. But like him catching the bullet, because he had like wondered if he could catch a bullet the whole, like in all of his leaflets up to that point, it'd been seeded throughout the whole book. And it was like, because he isn't a Superman, and it's like he can't catch a bullet. That's retarded. But like, and also he believes he's the greatest guy of all time who emulates the pharaohs and stuff. And the fact that he catches a bullet is like further like he actually is the coolest guy of all time. He did save the world, and we aren't going to tell on him. And it's like, oh, it's Ozymandias propaganda, EliteAri. And any reference to that great moment makes me happy.
Yep.
Oh, and I think it's Ozymandias says the end is nigh towards the end or something, which is obviously the sign that Rorschach is carrying around everywhere. The
sign? Oh, like when he's a protester or whatever.
Yes, which he's a protester much more in the comic book. So
okay,
bigger reference. And also, Angela was breaking fingers, which was what Rorschach always did.
Yeah, it was crazy. He had so many fingers broken, and we saw them, and they were like bent at angles and stuff. Oh my god.
True. But those are all my favoriteest references, EliteAri. Now I just have miscellaneous notes. Do you have anything to say before we go into my miscellaneous notes?
You know, I didn't pick up any references because I don't know any references, but I also have a bunch of miscellaneous notes, so it's up to you.
EliteAri, you said you had some miscellaneous information for us all.
I have miscellaneous notes. Let me go through it. So, number 1. The blood dropping on the sheriff badge, likening him to the comedian. Like at the beginning, when Judd dies, and it's like, oh my god, this is like the event that started it all in the original movie that I've seen, and now they're doing it again. This is the event that starts off this TV show. So it's kind of cool.
True.
There was the bit where the Germans were using black inequality in America to kind of win over the black soldiers. I thought that was kind of funny.
True, EliteAri. Because those weren't evil Germans, those were World War I Germans.
Oh wait, that makes sense. I thought they were like just the evil like Nazi Germans, but I guess that makes sense.
No,
either way, it works either way. But
it's like clever because I think in Germany they like I know there's like a side piece of history where right before Hitler gets into power, there's like a bunch of French soldiers outside of Germany because Germany wasn't allowed to be a country, but they were all like black soldiers. And I think like they were sent because in Germany there were like it was more even for black people or something. But then that became a Hitler talking point that we had to get these blacks out, but they were the French. So I don't know. That's like an interplay of like
Hitler,
I think for those black soldiers it probably would have been better if they had like turned on America or whatever in the war or whatever.
Yep.
But true. Or it was just a propaganda thing and I don't know history well.
Well, I can't refute you because I don't know history at all. So there we go.
And then that guy spat on him.
That guy? Yes. And it was like, yes, white men, bad. It's true.
We don't like these racism.
Next up, there's a Nixonville, and there's a giant Nixon statue, and that was very funny.
True.
I felt like that could be like a
everybody loves
comic
Nixon.
Book. I don't know. Was it a...
Well, yeah, because Nixon won like 5 presidencies in a row or something because he won the Vietnam War, which was like a big thing that like people didn't like in America, but because they were losing and stuff. And also because Watergate never happened, and Watergate is the conspiracy that made Nixon resign, EliteAri, but the comedian covered it up.
That that makes sense. But also the Vietnam thing, I'm sure it's in the comic book, but here it's like it is implied that Vietnam becomes like a US state, right? Like literally?
Yes. This apparently is in the comic book. I didn't remember this until I started watching videos. So, well, okay. I didn't know, but yes. And also the American flag is different if you notice. It's like a circle.
Oh, no. It's a circle? What do you mean? Like the flag itself?
Well, no, you know how they have in the middle there's like a circle. You know how in the American flag they've got the thing in the corner with all the stars on it, and the stars represent one star for each state, EliteAri. You don't know if you knew that. That's why the American flag has stars on the thing. Instead, that star thing is a circle, and it's in the middle of the flag in this show.
Oh my god, I wonder what that means.
Well, it either means that they've got even more states than just like they kept conquering other places, or they just redid it. Because if you were to do it the way it is now, you'd have to have one little star on its own in the rung or whatever, and that would look ugly. Instead, they did a different design or something, you see.
All right, wonderful. There's a scene where Cal is sleeping with the kids in the parents' bed, and then Angela has to go and sleep in the kids' bed because the bed is taken. I thought that was very cute. Let me scroll down. They're in the backstory episode with Hooded Justice. There's the funny interaction where Metropolis Man shows up and you think he's like figured it all out, but it turns out he just thought that he's giving information to Hooded Justice instead of him being Hooded Justice, and then the wife like laughs at him. Yep, so that was great.
That is a comic book thing, because in the comic, I think this is when we're reading about Sally's mother. Well, no, Sally is the mother. Silk Spectre's mother. Okay. Laurie's mother, EliteAri. I think something about that was like she got reached out to Captain Metropolis through her agency or something, and there was another weird like he didn't realize who it was. Or it was this is some sort of a reference, EliteAri. I'm
glad to hear it. Now, somehow we haven't talked about this at all. There was mind control in this. What do you think about this? I don't
know. It was a little wacky, but sure.
I think I have the exact same thing where it's like, oh, it's a comic book, whatever. I don't really think much about it, but
well, this isn't a comic book, I don't think. But
yeah, but like, this is a comic story or whatever. I can believe
it's a superhero thingy, and you know, true. Some things are possible.
It's true. The Cyclops.
Also, people say stuff like that I don't know if it's true. Of like the first people, whenever they saw a film and the film was that train, and they thought the train was literally coming at them, and they like ran. Or something. So I'm like, maybe in the 1920s, people, if they saw the man on TV tell them to kill somebody, they just would.
I'm sure that's very true. But definitely not. Also, yes, the Cyclops symbol is the symbol that Dr. Manhattan has on his head. Isn't that crazy? What does it mean? I don't know. But they put the thing on their head.
Is it?
Like, I don't know. They do a ring on their head, and he has a ring on their head, and they want to become Dr. Manhattan. I don't know. I'm sure it's related somehow. Right?
Well, Dr. Manhattan doesn't exist. Like, the Cyclops existed before him.
Oh, okay. I don't know my timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Manhattan is in 1960, and that was in like 1930 or something.
So you're telling me that we're actually getting a reveal that Dr. Manhattan's symbol is actually inspired by the people who were involved in his destruction. Well, Dr. Manhattan's symbol is a neutron,
right?
Well, it would be an atom, if anything, not a neutron.
No, I don't know.
Even then, I don't know about that. It'd be like a weird inverted
neutron.
He
explicitly says it's a neutron or an atom or one of those things in the comic book.
Well, it doesn't look like one that
Or it's a hydrogen atom or something.
Well, there's one neutron in the middle, one proton. Maybe. It's a bit of a vague... When did this get made? We should have known what atoms were like back then. In 1980s?
1986, EliteAri. Is a comic book writer, Alan Moore. I don't know if he's a scientist.
True. Maybe we didn't. Yeah, it's good enough. All right. I loved the Ozymandias reference in Lady True's speech, where she said, I have the quote here. This millennium clock is a monument to the new. Countless generations will gaze upon our mighty work and without despair acknowledge the new. And I thought, wow, that's the thing I know from Breaking Bad. That's kind of crazy. So we like that.
What did EliteAri just say?
Okay, wait. So for context, Ozymandias, we talked about this in the movie thing, where it's like, Ozymandias is some historical, like, Egyptian thing. And I know Ozymandias about, like, the famous poem that's referenced as a Breaking Bad promotional thing. And in the poem, it's like, this is a quote from the poem where it's like, gaze upon my mighty work and despair or something. And she's obviously in opposition to Ozymandias here, or like trying to better him. And he's saying, essentially, the whole poem of Ozymandias is about this thing that like doesn't last forever, and how your greatness will eventually be forgotten in time. And Lady True is building this immortal clock that will never be forgotten, and she's giving this Ozymandias speech, and instead of saying that it'll like like be gone. It's like it'll be here forever or whatever. Gaze upon our mighty work and without despair, you know.
Interesting. I totally got that, Illyrio. Don't worry.
I'm glad to hear it. There's also in the firstly, a god walked into a bar. What a great title. I like that. Very cool. This whole show had cool titles, I think, just throughout it. But in this episode, it was very interesting because I knew that obviously the main actor, Cal, he is Dr. Manhattan. That's the only version of Dr. Manhattan we see. But until he becomes him, we don't see him at all. We either see him from behind or we see him like out of focus. Or he has the mask on.
Or his tie.
His tie?
Well, yeah, when they were talking, a bunch of the shots were of his tie.
Yes. Yeah, true. Which I thought was an interesting directing choice. I liked it. There was a scene where they subvert the expectation where he's like, your favorite song is about to play. And she's like, oh my God. And she has a reaction to it. But it's like, I've never heard this shit in my life.
She never heard it. True.
Yep. So that was great. That's another thing about Angela. I'm like, oh, that's like a cute reaction of Angela that I like quite a lot. I loved the just Ozymandias and John talking to each other. I thought that was very cool. Where he like gets surprised that like Dr. Manhattan laughs at one point because he's telling him that he has like a lax imagination, but Angela's telling him he has a great imagination. I thought that was very cute. Then there's the conversation where granddaughter and grandfather are talking to each other through Dr. Manhattan. I thought that was very cute.
That was a time loop or something.
It was. And then the scene where John saves her was very cool, where the guitar's like kicking in and oh my God, he's stopping all these bullets and he screams when he gets teleported and it's like, oh my goodness, Dr. Manhattan's in pain right now. So all of that.
It's like when he was asked about the cancer.
Yes, indeed. Leave me alone. I love that. It was a great moment. And then I have like a bunch of stuff on this final episode, which somehow we haven't talked about at all. Like there's the initial meeting between True and Ozymandias where firstly it was there's the initial meeting in the flashback where she's saying that he's basically doing reruns about this one genius idea he had 20 years ago. I thought that was very cool. Where it is true, it's like he hasn't really done anything beyond that, right? He's just kind of he's perpetuating an initial good idea he had. So I like that stuff with the initial
meeting. You'd call it a good idea, a fucking person.
It's definitely it's a bold idea, a genius idea, you could say. Is it a good one? I don't know. But then there was the thing where it's like she walks in when they're about to defrost him, and she's like, "I need to tell you something, Beyond, right now, because he might say something." You are, and then she already knew.
True.
And the first thing he looks at her in the face, and he says it. It's like, "You cloned your mother." And like, this is great. Oh my God, the genius Ozymandias. Of course, he recognized it the first second he saw her. You know.
No, the genius Mrs. True.
Well, that's also true. She is a genius as well. She outsmarts her father, you know, but he wins in the end.
Do you know, I looked that up and that lady is like 47 or something.
I mean, that makes about sense.
I thought she was 25.
She could be a bit, I probably would have guessed like 40, maybe not 47, but yeah, she looks like that age.
Well, she would have been 40 when she filmed at EliteAri, so apparently
you're
a fucking genius.
I know exactly what I'm doing. All right. What else is there? Oh yeah, there's like a spectrum here, okay? And it's like the end point of the series, and I don't know what the point is. Well, I kind of guessed what the point is, I guess. But then on one end, we have the white supremacist villains, obviously. Then on the other end, we have like the Lady True, like narcissist, like wants to become God, and she will be like everyone will like kiss her feet. And then we have like the average like black couple in the middle who just wants to live like a happy life. Is that like the spectrum? What did you take from this? Because clearly there's like two villains, and obviously Lady True is probably like her ideology isn't as bad, but she is probably equally bad of an outcome.
Well, it's like, I just thought about this. I was just going to say, it's like evil racist versus like Ozymandias evil, which is like maniacal, like, but maybe like ends justify the means. And then it's just like, I guess like observers, or it's like, oh, Dr. Manhattan doesn't like to do anything in that. But then I was like, so is it supposed to be the comedian Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias, and like the racist guys are the comedian?
Yeah.
Or are they, or more obviously, are they supposed to be Rorschach, who won't compromise?
No. Rorschach's no. Terrible. We can't have that.
They do have his face on.
That's true. Okay, whatever. You know, it's whatever. We have two villains. They're both evil. And the observers, I like that. We have the Silk Spectre singing Ozymandias. It was sick. It was a cool shot from like her on the ground and looking up. True. That was cool.
He said, Adrian? And he said, yes, my lord.
Yep. Great performance. I liked when he like touched the blood and like teleported everyone, and then Lady True is like mad. Is like, where'd you send my father or whatever? And it's like, oh my goodness, she really wanted her dad to like watch.
Yes, because that was one of the great ones where this is also a mystery I didn't even realize they were setting up, where she was like, oh yeah, my father will be here soon, and I didn't even consider that it was going to be the great Ozymandias EliteAri.
That's right. It is cool that she does genuinely want like him to witness how great she is.
To see her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah. And then we get a really cool slow motion shot of Angela flying backwards, and it's like the slowest slow motion shot I've seen in my life. It was kind of crazy. It was so slow that I'm like, it probably is like a special effect. I doubt it was like a slow motion camera, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I don't know nothing about cameras. But this is another thing that I think I saw a video complaining about this, but it was like Angela didn't even do anything at the end. Like she wasn't the hero that saved the day or anything. But that's like totally the Watchmen thing, right? Is that like everybody like just sat around and Ozymandias did it all, and they didn't like all of the heroes we came to love, like Mirror Man or whatever the fucking Laurie, they didn't get to do anything. True.
I'm glad you're defending it. True. I agree. Good point. Then my final note is just about, I mean, to be honest, this probably is my favorite scene in the show. It's the scene at the end where Will is basically giving a speech about his life when they're sitting in the theater place. And he's recounting like when he was a kid, you know, he saw Vass Reeves on the screen and that inspired him, and trust in the law, and how he took his name when he was a kid because that was like his hero. And he talks about how like he hid his face so I hid mine, and he's like reflecting on his mother who would like play the piano there, like all of that stuff, and the music combined with it, and him telling his granddaughter is the one he's telling about this, and it's like a nice like, man, this guy lived a life, like a tragic life, and he's trying to make sure he's like his granddaughter kind of doesn't have that life in a way, even though she's suffered as well. I don't know, I really like this scene, I guess, and it is mainly the music is really good or used very well here, so I like that. That's all. It was
fine. It was good.
Yeah, that's all my miscellaneous stuff. I think. Oh wait, no. There's the. Oh no, that's it. That's everything. Literally everything. So go ahead, Kyle.
Everything ever. EliteAri has said he doesn't have anything else to say about Watchmen for all time.
Yep.
EliteAri, this is a bit of music I did like, is that when they were first showing the squid and you're on the edge of your seat, you're like, oh my God, I've waited 20 years to see this squid. Are they actually going to do it? And they're playing the New York song. They're playing Start Spreading the News or whatever. And I was like, oh, we're going to see it. And it was epic. And it kept playing and it like cued a few times. And then we saw the fucking squid EliteAri. That was an epic moment.
Now, is this a song you think I would know, or is it, I don't know what this is?
I mean, I feel like it's like a song every person on the planet knows,
right,
but
I probably do. I probably just don't recognize
New York, that one, EliteAri.
New York, like that one?
No, that's a different one.
I don't know. I'm sure I know it. Doesn't matter.
Christopher from The Sopranos was doing the ad about the squid. That was very funny, and obviously it's a HBO thing, and he's in a lot of HBO shows.
That true was gross, wasn't it? Like the ad about like eating the squids or whatever, and I'm like, I could never. And then when Looking Glass like talked about how it would like freak them out, I'm like, true, like it definitely would.
True, that was a literal Mad Men scene where they're talking about advertising and what they should say to the people, EliteAri. So I got a show for you. Yeah. But true, Christopher was there, and that was cool, EliteAri. We love references to shows I've seen.
Yep.
We're using the movie. Oh, I already said that. The Mother from the Hunger Games. The main theme is really good. Oh, a few Lane-esque sequences I have written down here, EliteAri. I remember there was one. It was at the beginning of an episode, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was one of the Hooded Justice ones where it was like a bunch of like newspaper clippings from him or something. It was probably when Angela was going in and out of the thingy, but I was like, this is like, because there's like those Lane sequences where it's like about the alien thing that like you feel like has no relevance to the plot, but it ends up having it, where it's just like 5 minutes explaining a fake research thing and through newspaper ads or something. I was like, well, Lane's the coolest, and the show was kind of doing it a little bit.
Excellent.
Oh, this is a funny one. This one's for you, EliteAri. I'm like pluribus poisoned, or I have PTSD or something, because whenever somebody talks slightly robotically, I think the hive mind is here. And I was like, oh, it like creeped me out. I was like, oh, it was definitely the mother-daughter who would say things like in monotone. I'm like, oh no,
she's been taken.
I wish she was a real person right now. But oh no,
oh my God.
I was like, I feel so bad for the poor Carol, EliteAri.
What a niche experience. Crazy. Good for you.
The two newest shows I've seen, EliteAri. The two shows I've seen this year.
Yep.
Oh, I thought the Vietnamese daughter was 20, not 10. True. He farted. True. These American. Oh, true, O'Leary. Is this our last? No, there's two final notes, O'Leary. One of them is that these white American eggs are weird.
Oh, I've seen white eggs, but most of them are. Well, I guess I've lived in America, so maybe that's where I've seen them. But it is true. It is weird, yeah. But
in a real country like Australia, eggs are like skin color for white people, O'Leary. And let's not be racist now. But in all these American shows and in these movies, eggs are white for some reason, and it's like gross, and it makes them feel like fake.
Wonder what the reason is. I don't know.
They pollute them with GMOs, O'Leary.
It must just be like some different brand of chicken. They have like different. I don't know.
True, they got a different breed. You call it, not a brand, O'Leary. Chickens are living beings.
They're objects to me. I don't know. Chicken. I don't care about chickens. They can die.
Did you know we had to kill like a third of the chicken population in the world like 2 years ago, and that's why eggs prices are so high?
What? Why?
Yeah, it was like there was like an outbreak of bird flu or something, and they had to exterminate chickens all over the world.
Wow. No, I never heard this.
Leader, you need to watch the fucking news. That's what you gotta watch.
True.
And my last note is the guy in the panda helmet, EliteAri.
Yeah, he was the rule guy, and no one liked him because he would put the rules down.
Because he kept saying you can't use your fucking gun or something. It was crazy.
Yep. That's true. Yeah, it's like a future society, just like Pluribus, where you can't like drive without the alcohol machine.
Like, it's exactly true, EliteAri. Yep. But no, it's just like Psychopaths, that anime you don't want to put on your poll.
True. It's too long, but I do want to watch that.
It's not too long. It's 22 episodes. Nobody has ever seen season 2 of that show because it doesn't exist. Also, I hated that show when I watched it, and there's a lot of philosophy in it, so you'll probably hate it too. So that'll be good. Now, also the most generic characters you ever. This isn't a Psychopaths review, EliteAri.
Yep.
Now, that's all I have to say about Watchmen, the TV show, EliteAri. What a weird show.
That's true, and a lot of stuff happens. You know, I don't know. It's a memorable show, I think. Despite
we love Lady True and Ozymandias, EliteAri.
That's right.
And Laurie.
That's right. And Looking Glass.
But not Angela or Dr. Manhattan.
I loved Dr. Manhattan, and Angela was pretty good too. And Will was the greatest actor of all time ever. So
true. What an old man.
Yep. Do you think I can lift 200 pounds? And then he shows up later and you figure out that that's why he said it when he was outside the bakery, because he lifted the body, but he made him actually hang himself, and it was crazy. Yep.
What a cool guy. Well, EliteAri, I think we should let the people go. You know, this is it. This is our last review series ever. We got nothing else planned.
I believe that is actually true. Well,
no, we got Naruto in a few weeks.
Well, and also we have a great movie duo that I don't know if we can say it. Should we say it? I don't know. Probably not. Who knows?
There's no way I haven't said it before, EliteAri.
All right. The Great Backrooms and the To Be Decided Obsession that I haven't seen.
EliteAri's making me watch both these movies. I'd never watch either of them if I didn't have to. And also, EliteAri, we're going to see Spider-Man in a few days, right?
I actually did think about, like, I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I might actually go watch Spider-Man in like 3 or 4 weeks when no one is watching it anymore, and it's like less busy. So
true. I'm sure you can find one with nobody in it, EliteAri, if you just try a little.
Not right now.
We'll see. Now, did you see it already made $1 billion or something?
I did. Yeah, kind of crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know this movie was coming out until a month ago. Now, true, but we got other. Naruto's the real deal, EliteAri. We've all got to wait around for Naruto. My goodness. I nearly said the arc name. Actually, I think I told you the arc name.
Wait, no, I don't remember it, but I could guess.
It's not exciting. But true, everybody look forward to that. And EliteAri. Oh, and you got to watch my NES video, EliteAri. I can't believe you didn't do that yet. And you got to watch EliteAri's Mushoku Tensei spoiler video, like I did.
No, don't do that.
Anyway, that's enough shilling. Support links in the description below. Get ready, EliteAri.
Yep.
Thanks.